something changed inside of me. The inner human slowly dead in me. I feel it come alive. The darkness brings me light. There ain't no stopping it, and you will never have from me. Pain of the change. What have I become? A creature of the night, ruled by moonlight. The pain of the change. This body's no longer mine. Feel wild and free, but caged at the same time. It's hard to be human, think human, feel human. A hunger's arising inside of me. The beast is alive and break it free. It's hard to be human, think human, feel human. Keep putting more chains on the beast. Hope it don't break loose. You better hope so too. I'm still inside. I'm still here. What have I done? When did this all start? I have become a monster in the dark, a hunger like no other, running on instinct. What's this creature always inside of me? The pain of the change. What have I become? A creature of the night, ruled by moonlight. The pain of the change. This body's no longer mine. Feel wild and free, but caged at the same time. It's hard to be human, think human, feel human. A hunger's arising inside of me. The beast is alive and break it free. It's hard to be human, think human, feel human. Keep putting more chains on the beast. Hope it don't break loose. You better hope so too. Whoa, you better hope so too. You better hope so too.
Who's holding my hand in the darkness? Seeing ghosts down the hallway. There's a presence, bedroom shadows, cloaked and haunting me. Cold hand touching me. Fear overwhelming me. Tapping at my window. I can't bear to open my eyes. A breath on my neck. Floating apparitions everywhere. Is it my imagination or insanity? A strange hum, a flash of light. I'm overcome, nothing but fright. Otherworldly beings taking me in the night. I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. What do I do? What do I do? Where are they taking me? Where are they taking me? I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. I don't feel real. I wake up in my bed. Was it just in my head? Looking at my hand, there's something there. Inside of me, I'm feeling oh so scared. Confusion and nasty fear. It wasn't just a nightmare. So loud, so bright, hypnotizing me, figures lost in time. I'm tortured, surrounding me tonight. I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. What do I do? What do I do? Where are they taking me? Where are they taking me? I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. I don't feel real. I wake up in my bed. Was it just in my head? Where are they taking me? I'm swelling in me. Where are they taking me? Anxiety rising. Was it just in my head? Paralyzing panic. Was it just in my head? I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. What do I do? What do I do? Where are they taking me? Where are they taking me? I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. I don't feel real. I wake up in my bed. Was it just in my head?
Howdy, folks. Welcome to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host, the Masked Luchador, also known as El Cino Grande. Yes, I am he, the terror of Mexico and the southern Texas and then some parts of New Mexico, but also Central Texas here, right here. I come a terror in the night with the claw. I choking you the life out of you. I slam you. Drop. Punch. Ha ha. Karate chop. Wearing the bling. Only the gold. Part of my culture. The Mexican culture. I put the claw on you. You cannot stop it. I'm too strong. I'm too strong. And I'm too sexy. Everybody know the power. The power. You see this? Huh? Mira. Aquí. Legends never die. They never die. And I openly challenge you to a wrestling match. Shrek. Or whatever your handle is, it should be Shrek. Swamp Man. You want to tempt fate? And face the mightiest luchador this side of the Rio Grande. You can't defeat me. No one is as worthy as I. And guess what? I get power from eating avocados. Avocados are very healthy, and I'd like to go into a little talk about them. They're full of protein, vitamins, minerals, lots of nutrients, and you all should eat them so you can get big muscles like me, big and strong. So you can power bomb your enemies. Oh, they come from all over to come to attack me. Mucho corazón they have. No heart, I have all of it. The sesos. That means brains. And then the heart. Oh, yeah. Because you can't remember when someone tell you something. So you have to go on the computer. And try to find a story. Computer, make up a fake story for me. Swamp ass. You think you hurt my feelings because you discover who I am? The alter ego of the one and only? Josh Turner! You see that? Hair's all messed up. Yes, I admit it. I am El Cino Grande, the Big Nasty. I've been wrestling for years under that name. Till one day, well, let's do the theme. That's how you do it when you go back in time with the theme and whatever. Long ago. There's no cutscene, I guess. So anyways, long time ago, down in Mexico, I decided to sign a contract with this man who turned out to be a Diablo. Sign my name in blood. Later, he told me that wasn't a prerequisite. I didn't even know what I was doing. I thought that's how it worked. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to be the best luchador that has ever lived. Better than Nacho. Okay? And he was like, okay. The devil. He was so evil. His real name was Jaime, but I figured he was a really bad guy. And so, yeah, I became a giant success down there known as El Cino Grande. That's in my past, folks, from another life. Rarely do I ever talk about that. But now you know. And I would have kept it a secret forever. But then this little man, this little hippie with a beard, he exposed my secrets. And Swamp Ass and AI found out about it, and they tried to blackmail me. They were like, we're going to tell everybody that you're El Cino Grande if you don't come forward. And I said, that's fine. So now you know. Little known secret, too, I'm also half Mexican. Which would explain all the racial slurs being, leveled at me by DW. That's fine. Whatever. Have your fun. That's what life is, right? We're just having fun, right?
Oh, obviously.
What's going on with you?
I'm just feeling a little different today.
You want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
Well, there's another one here. You could have wore that one.
I think the glasses on the outside of the helmet is a nice look.
Intellectual yet deadly. Like Oppenheimer. So, folks, yeah, we have a show tonight. I was just a little bit of theatrics, man. Just, when you're constantly under attack and people are hating and they're jealous, all you can do is laugh. That's all you got. They can't do what I do.
Yeah.
The latest round was DW talking about, I was wondering when the rest of the community would catch on the luchador, whatever. He called me a luchador. So he's basing the rest of the community on one little insignificant troll who has less than 2,000 people that subscribe to him, who makes it his mission to make fun of and attack people week after week after week. And I got my turn. So, boy, they're just having a field day. They're like, yes, our new hero. The guy looks like he has a bird's nest in his beard. And I'm sorry, but if this is the hero you've been waiting on, can you imagine, like every week somebody says something about these people, and I don't go and jump in their chat and go and say, oh, man, this is my new champion, my new hero. But they're so starved for attention that they gotta run over there and crawl up his butt.
Yeah. I don't get the big beard thing either. Like, if you're, I don't know what it is with these fat, soft doughboys, like these doughy dudes that are just, they have no muscle mass on them. They're just fat. Like, if you put your finger on any point in their body and you took it away, you would see an indentation, and it would be like jelly. It'd be like Jello. But they grow these big old beards like they're fooling someone. Like, you're not fooling. I promise you, no one is mistaking you for a big burly mountain man with farmer strength. Everyone just sees a big fat dude. Imagine Pillsbury Doughboy with a beard. You're not tough. You're not intimidating. You're just fat and soft, and you have a big beard.
Well, actually,
the big beard doesn't hide your fatness. It doesn't make you like.
It doesn't make you look rugged either.
It's like skinny people who cover their arms in tattoos. It doesn't hide your scrawniness. You still look like you just crawled out of a concentration camp, or like when skinny, like really skinny people or like really fat people, when they wear like really baggy clothes, it's not hiding your shape. So the big beard is not doing anything for you. You need to lose weight and go to the gym and just look good. Why don't you actually take care of yourself instead of just growing a big burly beard? A beard doesn't make you a man. You're still a fat, soft doughboy. It's all you are. No one respects that.
Well, anything that weighs more than a spoon, I think they can't really lift up to their face. And a razor is it's way too much.
Yeah.
I think it's more laziness.
Here's my reps, bro.
Well, I think that guy though that attacked me, and I can't remember his damn name now. Damn it, starts with a B. But the dude that attacked me, that they're all jumping in with, I think his whole thing was just jealousy. I mean, he talked about my jewelry, he talked about me being tough and whatever, and just, you know, he went all in on this, and he's, you know, yeah, you got a few people to jump in with you, but in the end, I mean, what did you get? You didn't do much, you know. He just got those people excited. They got all excited because someone else was saying something, you know, finally, whatever. So we have fun with it, whatever. This was my luchador mask. It's got the Astros on there, too. Yeah. Whenever I go and wrestle down in Mexico, that's what I do. I wear that. That's what I do. When we get to 300, I got an announcement to make. I got a big announcement to make, and I think that it's going to be really, really cool. It's cool for us. And we hope that you will be excited as I am. It'll be a way for us to build the brand, and because, you know, we're trying to be a massive brand. We're trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I think that with that guy though, I think his deal is like he wears that beard because he feels like it makes him look rugged or tough or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's all it is. The beards and tattoos on people who are not in shape are just like, it's their coping mechanism.
Well, he does 100 push-ups.
Oh wow! Ooh, excuse me.
Do we have the video that we took? Okay,
Like in his lifetime?
So what happened? So what happened is last night we went to the gym, and I kind of screwed up because I actually did 275 40 times on the seated bench, which is like the Nautilus, but it has free weights. But we couldn't gauge exactly how much each bar was, so we wanted to make sure. So I think we overcompensated. We put too much weight on there. So the last like 10 to 12 reps were not good reps. So I'm not going to count that. That doesn't count. You can't cheat. And so after doing that and then doing it again with the regular weight and only being able to do 30 because I had just done 40, so I kind of screwed it up. So I waited a little bit, and then I went and I got on the close grip incline. Now the close grip incline is no punk. That is not a punk machine. I do have a video of me doing 660 with the flies machine, which is like it's all free weights. You put plates on there, and I filled it up. And unfortunately, 660 is the most I've ever gotten on any bench or anything. But I am still confident that even at my age, I can do more. I could do more. I am very, very confident of that. And I'm going to max out on that at some point. You know, the only problem is I did the flat bench like a week or two ago when I did the 40.
Yeah.
And there again, I'm going to be real honest. The last 3 reps were hard, and then Anthony had to kind of help on the last 2. So my detractors would say, well, you did 37 clean, and then you had to have help with the last 3. Well, it's the truth. Let's be honest. But I'm also 48 years old. Okay. And I'm stronger than most people half my age. And so I got on there, and it kind of tweaked my rotator cuff. And when Barton was talking the night before last or whatever about rotator cuff, man, or was it yesterday during his live? It made me think about that, because it was like, to me, it's kind of like a sign. Like, I don't need to be getting on that flat bench, because that flat bench can really F you up, dude. If you don't know what you're doing on lifting weights, the flat bench can cause a lot of problems. It can really hurt you, and it's not worth it to do that just to prove a point to a bunch of knuckleheads. But one of the things I wanted to do was like video us doing each and every workout station that I hit. I typically do anywhere from 30 to 40 upper body exercises consisting of 3 sets of 20, sometimes 2 sets of 30. And so that is quite a lot. It is a hellified workout, and I typically do the 14, which is the base for that. So I thought about at one point, I had trained so many people at the gym who were fighters and who were football players and strongmen competitors. And so I even had basketball players and baseball players coming to me in the off season saying, hey, can you train me? I was never an official trainer, but I was a coach. and I did strength train quite a few people. And for the most part, I wasn't even charging people. I would just be at the gym, and somebody would come up and be like, "Hey, I want to try your system," which is basically what we called it, the 14. Now, do you want to explain to the audience what that is, guys? You guys do it, or Anthony, you do it.
Yeah, it's like a basic fundamental upper body workout. It's like you do your whole upper body in one workout. And that's a very effective way to train. It means you do 14 exercises on your upper body, and you get it done within an hour to max an hour and a half. 3 exercises on your chest, 3 exercises on your back, 3 exercises on your shoulders, 3 exercises on your triceps, and 2 to 3 on your biceps. So
Yeah.
it totals out to 14 to 15 exercises.
Yeah, and so that's the base. And at this point, I'm doing 40. And I've been doing 40 consistently. And this is not a braggart thing. This is not something saying like, "Oh, hey, I'm so strong." Everybody wants to jump on that. I guess I come across wrong at times to people. I meant what I said this morning in that little impromptu. Look at my hair. Hey.
You should just like mess it up even worse and
It already is.
and talk like Steve Brule the whole time.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, put your glasses on.
Imagine if you're like this. Like, "Hey, I'm your Uber driver. Where do you gotta go?" And they're like, "Well, I was gonna go down the street, but I got you. I'll take you all the way to Amarillo." I don't even care. Would you get in the car with that person?
They're all shifty-eyed.
Man, they don't want to get in. You can get out of the car. "Hey, whoa! We had a deal, lady. You didn't get in the car. We had a deal. No, you're not gonna walk off. Where you go? I'll throw this rock at you." People would be like, "Get the freaking hell." Folks. So we have a guest tonight, folks, and they're going to come on in about 20 minutes, and we're letting the chat fill up. We're just having fun right now. We're going to start cracking them. Don't worry. We'll get to business here. And once we get to 300, I have a big announcement. It says, JFA, thank you for that donation. We love you. It says, "Hi, Wolf. Got a fitness question. Everything I use, the bench press, both my shoulder blades constantly clip with each lift. Is that something I can eventually overcome, or should I just stop doing it?" Ooh. Are you doing the flat bench? Because get off of it. We will do a video eventually. It's a dream that we have. It's like a dream. Like something we can't do. It's like, no, we're just really lazy and haven't gotten to it, and we go to the gym and we don't have time. No, we will do this. I promise you, we'll do this. Several people that you can ask for reference for my workout that have worked out with me. Eric Kanevsky, message him. He trained with me. He's from, what's it called? Russian Gangster.
Yeah.
Huge following on different platforms, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. He's got the prank channel. I used to live with Eric. Eric knows, that I'm no BSer. You can hit him up and ask him. You can also ask these guys here across from me, but I mean, that's kind of like, well, you're asking my nephew, my godson. Why don't you ask Barton Nunley, who's trained with me, Christopher Clough, who's trained with me. You can hit up Scorpion. He knows the 14. He does it pretty regularly. So, you got a lot of people who you can ask, and they'll tell you whether or not it works. They're not going to lie for me. They don't need to. Nobody needs to lie for me. And, I would say that get off of the flat bench. What you guys are doing is the flies. At this point, I'm just doing like free weight.
Well, I mean, we do dumbbell presses. Flies are like
dumbbell presses and
Yeah.
dumbbell flies, same
Yeah.
thing. But you got not same thing, but you guys are doing that, and then I think you guys do pec deck pretty regularly too, right?
Yeah.
Pec deck is very good. It's where you sit like that. Well, now we have a machine at the gym at Big Tech's where you lay down and you do it, and it is brutal.
It is a nightmare.
It is a nightmare machine, but I have a very, very strong chest, so it is not a problem for me. I get on it and then I do it, and I usually do on that machine 6 sets of 20 or 4 sets of 30. Usually 4 sets of 30, which is a lot. That's a lot. And then the back press machine, I do that the one where you sit like this, and you can do it standing or you can do it seated. And I eventually plan on doing at each workout station, and I will show you each exercise, and I will show you how to do it correctly. and I'll make a video and it'll be available. We'll put it on something somewhere and you guys can just go check it out, man, for free. You don't have to pay for it. And then you can go and do it yourself. And the base is 14 exercises, like you just said. Hey, Josh, got any vampire stories? Yes, I do. I got one that's coming up. It's going to be not this Tuesday, but I think next Tuesday. I've got a couple of them. And we got a book coming out about vampires. Now, you got to remember about vampires, folks. You know, I said this, I think it was last night when we were talking. I believe it was last night on Blondes and Booze. If you didn't see the show with Blondes and Booze, go check it out. I'm going to be on there every Thursday with them. I just agreed to do an extra month with them, so I'll be on there every month, or every Thursday. So 8 p.m. So what happened, we were talking about perspective and vampires. Typically, if you're dealing with somebody who says, you know, I saw a vampire, like the guy from Belarus that said, this was a vampire. He didn't give me any room for interpretation. He didn't go, well, you know, it was a flying thing that just attacked. No, he said it was a vampire. Absolutely. Now, if you get somebody from like, you know, Nebraska or North Dakota, they're probably going to say, it was this weird flying thing. I don't know what the heck that shit was. You know what I mean? They're not telling us, hey, I saw a vampire. Unless maybe they're familiar with the show and they've seen other episodes. Now people will message us and say, hey, I had a vampire encounter. But before that, you know, they're not looking and going, hey, you know, I'm seeing a vampire. It's just one of those things. So you know, but when you get them from certain regions, certain areas, just answered somebody. So, yeah, that's typically what it is. It's all a matter of perspective. Like the one in Mexico, the guy didn't say he saw a vampire. He just saw a flying thing, whatever. It's not uncommon, though, now for people to say, hey, this is, you know, a vampire. We were some of the first people to talk about it. Now a bunch of people are doing it, but, you know, I believe they exist. You know, and people want to attack me for that. They want to attack me for every single little thing that they can think of. Remember this, though, folks. If you attack me, or you attack us, or whatever, somebody's going to attack you back. And I promise you, I am not ordering people to do this. It just it's going to happen. And if I think you're funny enough or whatever, I'll probably say something back because it's fun. You know, to say something back. Now, it's not fun to get attacked, of course not, but you got to make the best of a bad situation. I'll tell you like this. When I was a kid, I was about 9 years old. I got locked into a storage shed my friend and me got locked into a storage shed. We were too small and weak, really, to break our way out because his brother and his friend were basically guarding the windows, so we couldn't get out. So if we would have tried, they would have beat us up. And so they just sat there being bullies, and they closed off the door to where we couldn't get out. There was nothing we could do, and it was hot. It was like in the summertime, and, you know, parents are at work, and you're screwed. So we ended up, like, just making the best of it. We pulled out a board game, and we just sat on the floor and started playing. And then my friend John's brother and his friend, who were like 4 or 5 years older than us, saw us having fun, and thought, well, this isn't so much fun anymore. Then they opened the door and they came in and wanted to play with us. That's called making the best of a bad situation. Why give them what they want, man? And these people say, well, don't tell them, don't give them oxygen or whatever. You're probably right, maybe. But then again, they also need to know that if they're going to come off and attack me, somebody's going to say something back. Because what these people have done, and it's not about us, they have attacked people like Barton, what's her name? Melba Ketchum. They've attacked Ken, Lyle, people like that are my friends. And you're not going to do that to me. You're going to sit back and tee off on all these people. And if they want to let it go, that's on them. That's okay. They can let it go. But people in this community need to put on notice that if you're going to mess with me, the paratroopers are going to mess with you. So you need to stop. You know, and maybe if people stop just letting them harass and abuse and attack, people and we start standing up and saying, hey, we're not going to let you get away with this, you know, and they finally meet their match, or they bite off more than they can chew and their ass gets ripped, then maybe they'll think twice the next time they want to attack somebody who's defenseless, because what they typically do is they attack people who are defenseless, who can't really do anything back to them. They don't have an army behind them. Well, we do. So I'm not going to be responsible for whatever listeners come after you when you say and do mean and nasty things to me and to them. People are going to say something back to you. And guess what? Your little feelings are going to get hurt. You're going to become a meme, okay? And I held back with this little douchebag. His name is literally, I just remembered, it's Blake Doucher.
What?
No, I'm not joking. His name is Blake Doucher. It just hit me.
Wow.
So I'm saying your name right here on my show, Blake. Please, okay?
Oh.
Do yourself a favor and crawl back into whatever nasty hole that you made with your piles of dirty clothes. He's got piles of dirty clothes around his house, and he's going around talking about me.
Well, mentally ill people are often unhygienic, so.
Yeah, very unhygienic. His beard looks like a rat's nest. He's not groomed. And he's got like the Duck Dynasty thing, and he's like, yeah, it's guy, it's gold. And the whole time he's doing it, he's having a blast. You can tell he's having fun. He's like a pig in mud. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was looking at the guy, I kept laughing, but because when Nelly was trying to show it to me, it was serious, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know me, I laugh at all this crap. So I started laughing at this dude, and when I was laughing at this dude, at first I thought it was a girl, because he's got up here he's very effeminate looking, so I thought it was a girl, and I was like, oh, a chick, and then I saw the beard, and I said, oh, it's a beard. I was like, and then I looked, what am I looking at? And she's like, this is this guy that's attacking you, and of course Anus is in there, and she's cheerleading him on. The funny thing is, he's attacking us. But yet the hoaxers, the real hoaxers, are in his chat, and they're cheerleading him on, and he's over there thinking he's really doing something. So he's not about attacking people who are actual fake fraud hoaxers. He's about attacking people who are popular.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say they don't have enough of a following it's clout chasing. He's just chasing clout. It's all it is. It's trying to make a name for himself off of popular names.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
It's like a little parasite.
Yeah,
the Furious Five.
The thing is,
are doing
the what? The Furious.
Or, I mean,
Five.
whatever.
You just gave him like a superhero name. Jeez.
Well, they all
They'll
seem so angry at
probably latch
me.
onto that now. Start calling themselves that.
I mean, they are furious
Tony
about
with
one
a
thing or
bone
another all the
in it.
time.
They
So
always seem so angry to me.
they hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a shout out here, Justin, who just sent me a message here. Justin Genesis just sent me a message here, and then I just messaged him back. Thank you for that. He sent me a friend request. Thank you for watching the show. Autumn Lehman, tell Nelly her music sounds amazing. PRT is awesome too. Okay, so we got 223 people here. Let's quit talking about the fake Duck Dynasty guy. Look, here we got to talk about real stuff here. Two things. I said two, and I like this 4. Come on. 2 things. Okay. First things first. The music is coming along. Okay. Also, the board game is just kind of sitting there. We need anybody who wants to be involved in investing or something, because our money is being put in other things right now. So if you want to be an investor, let me know. So far, I've talked to a couple people, and we just have to get it. We just have to get it launched off. What we're trying to do with that is avoid doing Kickstarter, because we heard some things about it, if you don't reach a certain thing, I don't know. Then is that what it was? It was Kickstarter, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody knows anymore, but I've never done those. So if anybody knows anything more that we can come up with to get it done, because I'm trying to avoid having to pump all the money in from the show into that. But we're trying to get, so I guess I got more than just 2 things to say, and then we got about 10 minutes. We'll bring the guest on. Okay, JoJo says Kickstarter is good. If you know anything about it, let me know. But there are some things that I'm trying to. Is it? No, it's GoFundMe. No, the GoFundMe's the one that keeps your money. That's what Jody was saying, that they keep your money.
Oh, okay.
I think it's GoFundMe.
Yeah, and I think GoFundMe is like more for like causes.
Yeah, but it's like if you can't get a certain amount or so. I don't know how it works. I don't know. Lyle was telling me about it, and so was Jody. So anyway, here's the thing. We're trying to get it done. Okay. I'm going to have to look into different ways to do this and get it done off the ground, whatever. But we're in the middle of making this, releasing this album, which will be a total of 10 songs. And we want to stop it there, and then it'll go into another album. Now, we're still trying to come up with a name for the album. I have a name, but apparently my name's not good. I thought a Bubblicious Fisheye on Rye would be good, but everybody was like, no, that sounds terrible. That's a terrible name. I'd be like, I've been using that forever. So, and then also the other name was, well, of course, El Cino Grande, but people, that's your luchador name. You can't use that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, see, call it Big Nasty. That's what I was going to say. So it says Josh PRT, Christian owned, use, look into, give, send, go. Okay. So anyway, as usual, the paratroopers come up with a ton of great ideas, and the board game is really cool. I like it. We all played a test run of the final finished product. Look at this hair. Look at this. What is going on with this? So I used to have a friend that could do that. He would flick his head and it would just fall into place. I kid you not. I used to work at the club and we would just be like amazed by him being able to do that. But, the hair plugs, it's so hard to do with the hair plugs. So we have that going on. We have the album that's coming out. The songs are being released. There's 4 of them now, right?
Yeah.
That are released. And where are they available right now?
Well, hang on. Right now, there's 3 of them that are available. It takes time for them to get distributed to the different stores, but they should be available on iTunes Music, or there's like iTunes, and then there's Apple Music, which I guess are 2 different things. I don't use Apple anything. I don't know. I just know those. I guess those are 2 different things. It's on Spotify, and it's also on Amazon Music. So. Yeah, you can find them there. Yeah. And it's under Paranormal Sound Table.
So Brian is going to be able to work.
Okay, good.
Let's see. This is, they're like, he's always looking at his phone. I'm working. Dang it. I'm working. Stop messing my trying to clean my room. I'm sick of you. And they, another thing too.
Trying to work here, dear.
I'm going to put some China in your guacamole. I said no salt, no salt. They confuse humor too with like insanity. They think because you make jokes and pratfalls, it's like, oh, he's insane.
Well, low IQ.
He's being a insane child.
It's a statistical fact that low IQ people don't have good senses of humor. Like a sense of humor is a sign of intelligence as well. So like if you're watching something that's obviously funny and that person is like, that's stupid. I don't get it. That's stupid. Like it's not what they're watching that's stupid. It's them.
Yeah, for sure. Are you saying this guy's got like his gold is real? I hear what you're saying. I'm saying, oh, this guy's so stupid, man. He thinks he's strong and tough. Like, you can see the video of me. I did 100 push-ups. I did 100 push-ups. I had these little suction cup things. I did 100 of them. I was rocking it, man. And I went out and I heard Bigfoot calls. I was driving a car. I did Bigfoot calls. And I was like, oh, is that Bigfoot? Oh, that's Bigfoot. I called my friend. I said, Brent, that's Bigfoot. Come on, man. It's the best thing since Snake Phone Josh Turner. Oh, I don't stop. Stop. I'm going to hell for this. Try not to, but it's so easy to do. So easy to do. Well, you know what I should do is dye all this white. Make a little line right there. Mm-hmm. And then I could be, Shrek.
Oh, okay.
Man, Mocha Shake, you got to do something about that fool Josh Turner. He's making fun of you. Don't let him run you, Mocha Shake. You were a king. Well, I tell you what we got to do. So we got to get back on track here. Let me stop the joking because when I'm in joke mode, I'm in joke mode. I do stand up sometimes, and so I'm so happy about this next announcement though. Besides the album, I got to tell you, I got another one coming up here, and the conference is coming up like August, September. We're going to be getting on that real quick here. A friend of mine sent me something funny. So we're about to be syndicated. People know what that is. And we're going to be on AT&T, Spectrum, and Grande. So we'll be statewide on AT&T Uverse. We'll be doing a show that will come out every month or every week. We'll be doing a weekly show, and we'll be televised. Nowadays, I mean, it's cool. It's good. I'm glad. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, wow, And then some people will be like, well, there's all kinds of stuff, all different platforms, whatever. The cool thing is that I really want to hit the local audience because a lot of our stuff is based here in Texas, and that's important to me. And so it's another way for us to build the brand. And so I'm really happy. I'm really happy that we're going to be on actual television. Somebody said, "Oh, Annis is going to have an aneurysm." Probably. My enemies will probably be gnashing their teeth, and they're like, "I thought that everybody in the community was waking up to how evil this guy was because of this one little douchebag with a bird's nest in his beard." No, dude. Okay, the guy's got like 300-400 views on his show. Okay, he's not waking the community up, dude. Okay, and he's also a known troll, has a lot of enemies. So, hitching y'all's wagon together. Great idea. I support it. And so another thing I wanted to do, and I was thinking about this too, was like maybe doing, like a little bit of comedy and starting a Facebook channel just for my comedy, just to do the joking and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the characters, I was watching this guy, and he kind of does this little blessings like that, So I was watching him, and I thought, man, that would be perfect because, you could have somebody that's like just pure hater. Mm-hmm. And they just, all they do is talk about me. And so, and these people, that's what they do. So they're just going to come out and just be like, hey, folks, we need to talk about Josh Turner. He's evil. He's got to be stopped. If you and I hold hands and, rub ourselves together, I think we could come to some sort of conclusion in defeating this man. He's evil. Blessings. You see how cringe that was? You see how cringe that was? That is their shows, all rolled into one. Right there. Just lick your teeth. This guy. I hate him so bad. He's got to be stopped. I don't know what we could do, but if we all get together and just kind of roll around together, and maybe we can figure it out.
Get ourselves oiled up. Don't forget the baby oil.
Cowboy says, that is the creepiest I've seen a lot. Exactly. And these people are. Can you imagine, though, the psychologist doing it? She'd have to, those prune lips. She'd have to put the lipstick on and be like, come give Granddaddy a kiss.
You're such a nice boy. Give me a kiss. Come here.
That sounded absolutely demonic.
Come give Grandmommy a big wet kiss. Right on the lips, young man.
Ikey does it. Why can't you do it?
It's been a while since I've had a young man, Back in my day, I had many a young man. I was a sexy woman, your grandmommy. Or your grandpappy went wild for your old grandmammy. Mm-hmm. Gives me all moist just thinking about it.
This is a family show, sir.
Oh God, I'm grossing myself out, dude. Holy crap! I gotta stop. This is disgusting. Okay, I promise no more of that.
Tonight's show is rated R for.
I would say it's
Runaway.
rated PG-13.
No, it's definitely
All
rated
right.
R for
You
Runaway.
need to hide your kids, hide your wife. They're grossing out everybody up in here. Ugh. Dude, I want to keep going with it, but I just can't.
You know the song that we did?
What song?
The extraterrestrial hostage. It would be like, it would be like, I'm a, oh, no, I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I was going to say something really bad. I'm not going to do it. I'm a something psychologist hostage tonight. Change the lyrics, man. Someone touching me. Sorry, honey, I don't want to defile your songs like that. Anyways, folks, we are now time to bring our guest on. But anyway, that's what's going on in the world of Paranormal Roundtable. Just doing what we do. Got the chat filled up a little bit. Has anybody seen Sugar Britches? I saw her in the chat the other day.
Yeah.
Barton's, but I guess she don't like us no more. What's wrong, Sugar
No,
Britches?
she was like she's been on and off.
If she's not feeling good, oh, please pray for her. Anyways, folks, that's what's going on. That's the news. That's what's happening. We got a lot going on in the world of Paranormal Roundtable. Funny thing is, our enemies think that they're really doing something. And like I said this morning, the lady that wrote the big old book, she wrote a big old book, like a long book, like bigger than the ones that DW writes, which is not hard to do. And it was just this big old thing, and we read like a little bit of it and then just deleted it. So, when you leave these snarky, nasty comments, you got to know that nobody's going to read it. I mean, and if they do, who cares? But for the most part, it's just going to be deleted. I mean, and I'm not even the one that deletes it. It's them and a couple other people that use the PRT, whatever. I don't particularly use the Paranormal Roundtable, what's it called? The channel.
Yeah.
I don't use it when I go. I'm usually Josh Turner or whatever. And so I'm not the one that's going to be deleting your ass. And so you think that these comments that you're making are going to be like, I'm going to read it and go, oh, no. I don't even read them, dude. And so Nellie this morning was laughing, and she was like, wow, this big old book trashing you. And all it is basically all it's going to happen is it's just going to be like, boop. And then you'll be banned from the channel, and no one will ever, nobody knows. It's that simple. That's why, if I ever like come across someone's channel, I'm not going to sit there and leave like a big old long paragraph of stuff, because all they got to do is just hit a button and you're hidden from the channel forever. It's easy. It's just boop, just snap. It's over. Snap. There you go. They know. Snap. That's it. Nobody cares. So they have this big old, monologue in their head that they think that you're going to read, and you're going to be all like brought to your knees or something. You just wasted minutes of your life trying to get a message to somebody who, first of all, doesn't care, and then second of all, isn't going to read it. And the person that does read it's just going to delete you. So good luck with that. Think you're really making a difference. You're not. Okay? The train keeps rolling, folks. So we got the syndication thing coming up. That's going to be good. We're going to be on television regularly. That's cool. I'm happy about that. And then we got the board game that we're still trying to figure out how to tackle, because we got to be able to mass produce it. That's the biggest thing. And then there's little figures that are going to be in it, and getting those produced too is another tricky, pricey thing. And then that's it. Pretty much, it's done. It's cool though, because each of the figures is going to have a different character from the community, and we're going to have, I think, 5 males and 5 female characters.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be all of us, But Nellie was like, no, we don't get to be the characters. And I'm like,
It's PRT.
it's PRT. But she wanted people from the community like Barton and Ken and Lyle and people like that. And I said, that's fine. We can use them. And then, you can have different females too. We're gonna see if Sibylla. I don't think we've asked Sibylla yet. So if you're listening, Sibylla, we want you to be one of the characters. Blondes and Booze, some people that we know like Bettina, and we're just gonna make them the females, and each one's gonna have their own little bio, and then they each have like a special. Don't they have like a special deal? Like each one, you get something special.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a pretty cool thing, pretty cool concept. So let's bring on our guest. Enough of this wackiness. Oh, is this thing still messed up?
What about that?
Well, I don't know why I have a keyboard here that does not work. Should pop up now.
There?
Yep.
Hello?
Hey, Don, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. How are you today? Tonight.
Fine.
Okay. So Don Orwig, everyone. This is Don Orwig. Don, you want to say hi to the audience? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Dawn Orwig, and I live. Do I need to say where I live?
Nah,
No.
you don't have to say your last name even if you didn't want to, but it's up to you.
Oh, well, I already talked on the chat, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I saw that. So Don, you are an experiencer of a lot of different phenomena, right?
right. Paranormal and cryptid both. I live in the northeastern part of Oklahoma. I'll just say that part at least. It's
Okay.
got a hotbed for sure from all different kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. To me, paranormal is like these cryptids. I don't really even like calling them cryptids. I mean, I agree with Barton Nunley. They're like inhumanoids because I think cryptids are more like something that's like cryptozoological, something that like Ken studies, more than these beings that we encounter. And I'll say this too: I don't believe that Dogman is a cryptid. But what you experienced, it ran the gamut between all of these things. And you want to just start, however you want to start, from when you were young, or you can start from, whatever, just your personal experiences.
Do you want to do the paranormal or the Bigfoot stories first?
However you want to do it, I would say go in order. I mean, just however you want to do it. Just as much or as little as you want to talk about on the show. It's up to you, however you want to do it. I would just, when you were young, what was your first experience?
I was 12 and a half in 1982 when we moved back to Oklahoma from Arkansas. And we had to live in a house across town while they were building our house. And it was a parsonage, so we had to wait for them to build it. What I didn't know at the time was the neighbor kids went onto our property and did a seance. And I think that's probably what drew it in, but there's no absolute proof, So we moved here on my mom and her mom's birthday. So we had 3 things to celebrate during that time. So October of that same year of 82 is when we moved in. It was right around the 27th. So it was close to Halloween. And the way the house is set up is you walk in the door, and to the left where the hallway is, there's a bedroom, then a bedroom, and then a bigger bedroom, and then my parents' bedroom. Kind of like 2 bedrooms are together, then the bigger bedroom is, straight ahead. So I had the first bedroom, and that's the first time. There's 4 of us kids, so that's the first time I ever had my own room. And I was used to leaving my door open. And from where my bedroom was and where my bed was, with the door open, I could see the kitchen. And we always had a bedtime, and I'm the oldest of 4. And the kitchen was all black and dark, and my parents were watching the news, so it's probably around 10 o'clock at night. And I heard this voice telling me to come into the kitchen. Now, growing up with siblings like I do, we play pranks on each other, and we still do to this day sometimes, especially my brothers. They're notorious for that. They like to scare me, and I have a good sense of humor. I don't get mad at them, but, they still scare me to this day, and they're pros at it. So I thought, that they were in there, they snuck past somehow, and there's only one way to the kitchen. And I thought they were in there because I kept hearing my name say, "Dawn, come in here," and I said, "Well, who are you?" And I started listing off the names of my siblings and my parents, and it said, "No." And I said, "Well, who are you?" And it said it was Satan. And I was like, okay. Now Satan, I know, is not going to come around to everybody's house and do that. So it was probably one of his demons doing all that. But so
You
anyway,
mean
I
like,
yelled.
the you're talking about like the main bad guy, like you're thinking, but it is a demon.
The demon, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Satan. Yeah, so I yelled for my mom and dad, and they turned on the light, and they said, well, I mean, not my bedroom light, I don't think, but the kitchen. And they said, there's nobody in here. And I said, well, I heard what I heard. And I'm a very creative person, but I don't make up stories like that, unless we're playing around or something. And so they told me just to go to bed. It was just, new house and my imagination. I'm like, I'm not that creative, not visibly that creative. So anyway, some time passed. I'm not sure how much time. And anytime my parents would go to bed, I was terrified because I could see into the kitchen, but I couldn't see because it was too dark. But I would always hear noises in there. Sounded like the cupboard doors, cabinet doors opening and closing, cups falling down, but there was nothing ever in there because I'd go in there to look. So I decided I was going to shut my door. Probably about a year later. Now I've told my siblings about all this, and we tried to do a seance, but keep in mind, we grew up in a Southern Baptist home, so that was taboo to do that. But we didn't even know what we were doing. And so something knocked on the table, and I said, you know what, I'm done. I was only 12, and I think I was 12 at the time. I'm not sure what year we did that. So I got sick and tired of being haunted. So me and my sister switched rooms because she was in the room next to me. And she started hearing things. So we convinced my brothers to change rooms, and we shared a room that they had and they had. So my brother Paul, he's the youngest, he was in that room, and I said, I'm warning you now, you need to keep your bedroom door closed. He goes, I'm not scared of anything. He's really tall he's the tallest one, but he was the runt back then. And so one night, I'm reading a book or writing, one of the two, because I've been writing since I was 10, and my sister was coloring in her book. Mom and Dad were in bed. And Paul, he knocked on our door, and I said, come in. And he came in, his eyes were squinting because he was in the dark. And he said, now I used to have dark brown hair. And my sister has a lighter brown hair. So he asked me, he goes, hey, Dawn, did you go down the hall in the dark? And Carrie and I sort of laughed, and I said, what are you, crazy? I'm not going down that hallway in the dark. It's probably been about a year and a half or so since, this all happened. first started with me. And he said, well, I saw this girl with short black hair in a white dress with no legs and 3 lines on her face, red lines on her face go past. I said, well, first of all, I don't have short hair. I have long hair. Even back then I did. And I do obviously have legs, Paul. I said, I told you to shut your door. I'm not telling you that to be bossy. I'm telling you that to protect you. Well, this is his story, but this is what really creeped us out. And even to this day, it just freaks me out when I think about it. So he was brave enough to do this. So we have a wood burning stove in the house, and he hid behind it. Still gives me the chills. So when you walk in the front door, to the right is the living room, and then it goes around, and there's no doors that you open. It's like an open space doorway frame. You go into the dining room, then to the eating area, kitchen area, and then to the cooking area. So it's basically a wall that just, you can circle around without opening a door. So he's hiding behind there at night, and he sees that girl glowing coming down the hallway, which is a short span from his door to the entry hall. And he saw the same girl with wearing the same stuff, and it floated by him. And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now because it's really creepy. And he watched it go. He said it didn't see him, but he watched it go into the dining room and turn left into the kitchen. He said it took him a long time to get out of his hiding place, and he was going to go follow it. I said, you are so crazy. What are you doing? But he said, as long as it took him to get out of his hiding place and to get there, she should have already been coming around the other end. He said it took him a lot, but she was standing there waiting for him. But her back was still to him. And then she walked through the kitchen so slowly, and then she just disappeared into the mirror that was hanging there. And so he ran into the room and shut the door. I said, okay, I tried to tell you, But so that was my earliest experiences. And there's like a load of stuff like that. There was one day, I think it was a Wednesday or a Sunday night, us 4 kids skipped church. We didn't really have to go. So my brothers are outside with their bows and arrows, and me and my sister are watching Unsolved Mysteries. We brought one of the cats in. Cat was sleeping by the TV, and the TV was on the floor at the time. And I kid you not, we saw this skeleton type hand come out of the TV, hover over the sleeping cat, and that cat woke up and was scared and jumped on our laps, and we're like going, what did we just see? What did the cat see? Or maybe he felt it or she felt it, and it was really creepy. And there was another time that my sister was alone in the house. She was playing a video game and in the living room, and from the TV, the reflection showed the back of the dining room, which there's a door that leads to the garage, and she saw this, she heard the door open and shut. And she thought we were playing me and my brother Mark were playing a joke on her. And we weren't, because we had just pulled in the driveway. We saw her outside, and she had tears in her eyes. And I said, what are you doing outside? What's going on? Did something happen to mom or dad because they were gone or something? I thought maybe she got a phone call. And she told us what happened was that she kept hearing the door open and close. And then she saw this large black, well, it was like a man shape, blackness just go through the door. And she just got scared because she thought somebody was in here. But when she realized there was nobody there, she knew it was paranormal. And that really freaked her out. And, oh gosh, there's so many stories. But so we went, we had all these paranormal stories and experiences. And so when I was probably 23 in 1993, I had to start working at the church, which is across the street, as the secretary. Maybe a little bit somewhere, maybe it was around that time, might have been even earlier than that. And I'd be there by myself. And this one story still gives me the creeps to this day. And during the school time, because we had a private school there since 1989, and we're still there. Not in the same building, but our school is still there. Well, anyway, in the summertime, I didn't like it because I was hearing stuff all the time. I was hearing old church music play, things like that. And one day, my mom used to babysit kids for our church mostly. So she was babysitting this little boy. He's probably about 3 or 4. And she had to go to the store to go get lunch. So she asked me if I could watch him until she got back, which is just across town. And I said, sure. So I said, okay, we're going to go in the playroom because there wasn't nothing for him to do in the office. So the playroom, these are all Sunday school classrooms. So he could look across the hallway and see another room. So he kept looking over there and smiling and waving. And I'm like, after a while, I was like, who are you waving at? He goes, those three black men. And I said, I don't see anybody. He goes, well, they want me to come over and play with them. The hair rose up on my neck, And he said they're wearing miners' hats. Now we do have coal mines around here, so I thought, well, maybe they had coal dust on them or something, I wasn't sure because he was only 3 or 4. And he said they're wearing he's a very smart little boy. Oh, very smart. So he described him to a T. He said they're wearing miners' hats, wearing old overalls and shirts, and they're scratching the wallpaper off with their fingernails. And I'm like, but we don't have wallpaper. It's all paint. And I did some research because that's what I'm really good at. And it was never wallpapered. So I don't know what he was seeing. So that was just that really creeped me out. And so during the school year, I don't remember anything happening until around 2004. And that's when I started to keep notes, and I'm still keeping notes. So it's probably been about 30 years, maybe. Well, maybe no, 20 years. Yeah, 20 years keeping notes. And
When you go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. This is going to be a long story. So
No. What I was just going to say, like when you started having your encounters with Bigfoot and things like that, you had already gone through all of this stuff with these spirits.
Right. Yeah, I didn't experience. Yeah, I didn't experience the Bigfoot stuff until let's see, the late 90s, I think.
A lot of people will sit there and say, well, I don't think there's a connection between UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, and these entities. I disagree because there's an inordinately large number of people who have these Bigfoot and Dogman experiences along with other inhumanoids, and they tend to have had alien, abduction scenario, or they have ghosts, or in the case of like Jesus Payan, a very notable one. He told me and Barton like he had ghosts and alien abduction prior to witnessing Bigfoot. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, before, and you can go back to the story, but just for a minute here, what do you think of that?
Well, I've had, you reminded me, I did have 3 separate UFO encounters, but I think they were government done because they were way too small for anybody to be inside. And that was about the same time the Bigfoot thing started happening because I don't like to drive, really, but I've had to push past it because I had anxiety driving. I'll tell you, my dad had to force me to get my license when I was 21. I had my permit when I was 15 and a half. So I had a job in the next town, 6 miles south, at a pizza place. And my first encounter with the UFO, it must have been in anywhere from 94 to 96. It might have been 96, somewhere around in there. And the countryside, we got rolling hills. We're off the Ozark Mountains, so we have all these rolling hills, deep hills and low hills. So I was going down this little low hill on the highway, and it's kind of flattened out now because I had to widen it and stuff. And to my right was, a field. And back then it was a 2-lane highway, one northbound, one southbound. And I was going southbound. And in the passenger side, if I was sitting in the passenger side window or door or seat, if I rolled down the window, I could reach out and touch this thing. That's how close it was. But it was a triangular, it's what we would call a drone today, but it had like a dome underneath, but it was triangular. And the speed limit back then was 55. And then when it got closer to the town limits of the town I was going to, it backed up and just sped, and poof, it was gone. And I'm like, okay, there are people behind me and in front of me. They had to have seen it. And then 2 other occasions, I saw the same one flying up above a tree line, following me. It had to known I was coming because I was on a different road. And then another time, it just fell right into the pond. And I was like, what the crap is going on? So that's about the time I saw. That was about the time that the ghost stuff was really big. But the Bigfoot thing, I want to say it wasn't around the 96 mark, but it was like 2001 or a little before that, 2000 maybe. My sister and I had moved out, and she found her boyfriend/husband, so they wanted to keep where they were living. So I moved back in with my parents. I had to bring my cat. Well, I would always go sit on the church swings, listening to my DVD player because that's about how old it was back then. And it was at nighttime, and I know the tree line, and my brothers live on this property now across the street from my parents, and across the street from my dad now. And I kept counting, and I said, "There's too many trees." There's like I don't know how many trees there were. They're cut down now, some of them, and I'm like, I got this eerie feeling I was being watched, and I'm like, there's that, and that tree moved a little bit to the. I'm like, what is going on? It moved like a little bit to the left or right, and so I just got freaked out, and I said, I'm not going to swing. I know this went on for several weeks, like in the summertime mostly or springtime, and my cat would always, come with me. And then July 13th, 2001, it was a Friday the 13th. My mom found my cat dead. And it just devastated me because I'm very empathetic, and it just tore me up. But the little girls down the street said they saw what it was that was hovering over my cat, and it was some large, big black shape. They said they definitely wasn't a dog because their dogs woke them up, and I could hear the dogs barking, but I thought nothing of it, So when we examined the cat, this is what's really weird. I've seen enough cat fights to know when a cat's fighting, their bodies are constantly moving. I think everybody will agree with that. So claw marks are going to move with the body. They're not going to be like what my cat had. She had 3 straight lines going down her belly in a straight line, but no blood, no gut spilled. And I still don't know how. I guess her neck was broken, but I tried to feel, but I was too upset. So I thought, okay, was it a Bigfoot that did it? And that's kind of where that first started coming in, And she would always sit on the outside of my window, keeping guard, because she was a very good watch cat. She would go and attack dogs who was coming around me, Smart cat. And so in 2004, my sister decided, by this time she had 3 kids, so she decided to move back into town, and she still lives in the same house she lived in. Well, one night, I don't know what year this was. I can't remember. I know I have it written down somewhere. One of her cats was missing. Actually, a whole lot of neighborhood cats were missing. They found dead in weird positions. It was the strangest thing ever. And
how old were you when this was happening?
probably in my 30s. something like that, late 30s maybe. So late 2000s, or well, like 2008, 6, or somewhere around there, or maybe it was my late 20s. Yeah. So Mom and I decided to go look for her cat, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a bright, sunny day. We're walking up the street. Mom's talking. She's not paying attention. I'm always looking around. And on top of the house, this really 100-year-old plus house with a metal roof, sat this Bigfoot creature. And I'm glad it wasn't facing toward me, because if it had, I probably would have been scared to death. But I could see the side of its face, and its legs were either over the roof, because the roof was, sharp, like a T pointed, not a T, but like an upside down V shape. Or if either that, it was squatting down. I couldn't really tell because it was all black. And it must have heard my mom talking, because I was fixing to tell her. I turned to look at her, waiting for her to be quiet so I could tell her to look over here. And during that time of space, that's when it already stood up. And when I saw it, it had a white furry butt. I thought, now that's weird. And then it just jumped off the roof and landed onto the ground. And I was like, I said, Mom, did you not see that? She goes, no, honey, I didn't see anything. And I'm like, and I told her what I saw. And she said, oh, maybe it's somebody playing a joke. I said, Mom, that house is vacant. Nobody lives there, and they're going to kill themselves jumping off a 2-story roof, Well, on this block that the house sat on, it's all covered in woods, even today. And so we were walking past it, and here I was terrified. I was scared that the thing was going to get us, So, but we noticed that all the birds were quiet. And so we never did find the cat. I think it died or something. I can't remember now. But 2 weeks after that, I skipped Sunday. I think it was Wednesday night church, because we usually have, before COVID, we would always have like a meal and then Bible study or prayer. It just kind of depends on what we did. So I decided to listen to my music, and I think at that time was an MP3 player. And I was wearing flip-flops, and I would say to everybody now, don't ever wear flip-flops if you're going for a walk, because if you have to run, you're not going to get very far. So I'm walking up the street, and I hear this loud animal noise. And I'm like, man, it sounds like somebody's got their TV on too loud. And I thought, they're going to get the police called on them, because, disturbing the peace. And the closer I got to the same area where I saw that Bigfoot, the louder it got. So I took my earplugs out, and I'm like, okay, this is really strange. And it sounded like, if you ever been to the zoo and heard a bunch of monkeys talk, that's what it sounded like that kind of pattering going on. Except for it was so loud it hurt my ears. I mean, it really hurt my ears. So this particular street has a curve to it, so it's not like a dead end, but it curves around. And then I noticed when I got to a certain spot, it stopped. I said, oh my gosh, I'm not going to look up there because it sees me. I said, if I look and it sees me and I see it, I know I'm going to take off and run. I said, it took every ounce of my willpower, not to run. And so I passed it, because I could tell it was up in a tree. I could tell it was to my right where all the wood line was, and it was up in a tree because of the noise. And so when I rounded the corner, I was like, I didn't even want to look behind me, because I was like, okay, is it following me? Is it slowly following me? All these terrible images hit my head, And then it started the chatter noise up again. I said, okay, good. I could tell it's still up in the tree. So I walked as fast as I could. And I said, I'm never wearing flip-flops again, And I go to the church and I tell my sister, and I'm shaking because I'm scared, And so she, I think she was watching 2 little girls, and they said they saw my dad owns the 3 lots across the street from us. And they said they saw a monkey in the tree. But they don't know about anything about Bigfoot, so they would just describe it to the best, animal kingdom that they know. And she didn't see anything out there.
Did they say it had a
Well,
tail, or it didn't have a tail, or?
I think they said it didn't have a tail, something like that. Yeah, and she's still trying to find these girls would be a lot older now. They'd probably be in their 20s by now, and she wants to talk to them to see if they remember that and see if they got any more details.
Huh.
And then in our town, we have, stop signs every so, different places, and they're not all the same height. So this happened. See, I moved into my house, which is next door to my sister, in 2012. So I think this happened between 2012 and I want to say 2018. And I was still living here at the time. And she had to leave for work I had to get up at 3 to leave by 4 or something like that. And she happened to look at the street light to the southeast, and she saw this big, tall, black thing running down the road, and then it jumped over to the fence, and there's a pasture of cows out there. And so when she told me, she called me at school because I was still teaching school. I still am. And she was on her lunch break, and she got so excited. And I said, "Okay, Carrie, slow down, just start over." So she calmed herself down, and she told me. And she said the head was taller than the street sign. So that was on a Wednesday morning. So that night, after church dinner, we walked down there with measuring tape. The top of the street sign had the street sign on it, the stop sign, yeah. And so that right there was 9 foot tall. I was like, "Carrie, are you sure?" She goes, "Yeah, I couldn't even see the sign. That's how much it blocked it out." I was like, "Carrie, the top of the sign is 9 foot tall. And that would have made that thing 9'5" or more. And so we could see some indentions in the grass where that thing had been too. I thought, man, that is so freaky. And so, when we all still lived at home, my 2 brothers and I would go bike riding at night all around town. We'd cross the highway and come back around because it wasn't as dangerous as it is now. One night I didn't go, and my brothers, we always listened to our music. Well, my brother Paul, he stopped to do something, which is just down the road from where I live now. It's on that same street that I walked up to, when I heard that Bigfoot chatter. And over his music, because he liked to play it loud, he heard this growl sound. He turned around and looked, and there was this creature standing underneath the street light with reddish brown curly hair and red glowing eyes, and it started chasing him up the street. And he got so scared that he passed my brother Mark, and Mark didn't know what was going on. So Mark goes, when they got to the house, Mark goes, "Paul, it wasn't a race." Paul goes, "Yes, it was. I had to beat him so he wouldn't get me, but get you." They were trying to make a joke out of it. Well, Paul, he denies that even happened. Because he told us that story, and I think he's in denial because he's had multiple encounters with our mutual friend James, and James told me all the encounters they had that he could remember, and Paul just don't want to believe it. And but the other encounter I had was November of 2011. September, somewhere around in there. And I do nighttime photography and daytime. Well, I'm a photographer too. So I was practicing my nighttime photography, and I was facing the south of my parents' house. And I was using my flash, and I felt uneasy. Something was watching me. I could feel it. I felt just creeped out, and there was a spider. So I was trying to take a picture of the spider. Well, when the flash went off, I heard this weird noise. The best way I can describe it, half pig grunting sound and a half noise like a horse being hurt or something. And I got scared. I was like, okay, I could tell by the sound of the voice how tall it was, and it was above are about the same height as my brother's Russian olive trees, which is about 6 foot or higher. And I could hear footsteps. I was like, okay, I know what a horse is. You know, we live out in the country, so I know what all these noises are. And I couldn't identify it, so I knew it was something I've never heard before. So I edged my way, keeping my eyes focused on that same area, and there was a street light there, so it avoided the street light, whatever this thing was. And I opened the doors with my hand behind my back, and I told keeping my face, my head toward the sound. I told my dad, who was asleep on the couch, I said, "Dad, there's something out here." He just mumbled, "Okay," and went back to sleep. Well, Mom came out there, and she shut the door, and the porch light was turned off. And we heard it again, but it was behind my brother's house, and they had chickens at the time. And then my brother, Paul, comes out and with a flashlight. He scared us both. He goes, "Did you all hear that?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I heard it twice." He said, "Well, I'm going to get my shotgun or his gun or something." So we went, and the chickens were just all frantic, and we couldn't get them calmed down at all. So something was disturbing the chickens. And that's the only thing I could think of. Because anyway, there was horses, and the neighbors' dogs were going crazy. Well, my brother thought it was a horse. I said, "Why would a horse bother the chickens?" I said, "Paul, I could tell by the sound of the voice how tall it was. We don't have any horses around here that is over 6 foot tall, you know." And anyway, he just, I don't know why he's in denial, but so yeah, those were, I think the only Bigfoot things I've seen and heard. And I really, but yeah, but at our private school, we've had multiple paranormal stuff going on. I mean, multiple. It's like, that's why I decided to keep a record. So it goes back, dating back to 2004. And I never tell any new students what's been going on. And I always tell the students who are coming back to never tell the new students that the place was haunted. Unless they experience something, then we tell them, And we didn't realize it, but back in the 80s, we had a youth walk-in, and a girl did a seance back there because she was a witch. And I was like, okay, that's probably what brought them in, I'm not really sure about that, though. But we had, oh gosh, I could sit here forever and tell you all the stories. If you want, I can highlight the most scariest ones.
However you want to do it. I mean, however, it's up to you.
Okay. So I brought my notebook with me just in case, because I can scan through it faster and tell you they're in a chronological order.
Let me ask you this question: why do you think that you have had these experiences? What have you ever stopped and gone like, why is this
happening to me? Yeah, all the time. I'm like, why do these weird things always happen to me? People that live in this town before we did, they said Talala's, I said the name of my town, but I guess it doesn't matter. They said it's cursed. It's got this history. We're on Indian land, Cherokees own it, it's Cherokee Nation. But I don't believe in curses or anything, but everybody here has experienced something. Some people won't talk about it. Some people won't even admit it. But I'm not really sure. Maybe it's because I'm an empath that I have more experiences than my siblings. Because I would go from my parents' house being haunted to go work in the church building to being haunted and back and forth. So I never had any peace for over 40 years, And it's just really taxing on your mind and all that. And yeah, I don't really know how to answer that truthfully about why it's happening to me, but yeah, it's just not a. I'm just not really sure.
And it's still going on to this day.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, not in the old building because in 2016 there was a water heater broke, and so we had to move into the new building. And we have some experiences over there, but not as bad as what we did at the other building. But the scariest ones usually happen when we had students there, and that was whatever these. I'm just going to call them ghosts because that's easier for my mind to take, right now. But they were awfully brave because I taught anywhere from a few students to like 28, I think I could hold in my classroom. And I had ages, first grade through 12, because I taught all subjects, all kids, great. That was the big classroom. And this was after, I mean, I've been teaching there longer than that, but there was some really wicked people that were in our church school doing some really wicked things. I mean, I'm not talking evil like Satanists, but I'm just talking they were narcissistic, overbearing. They were trying to get rid of my dad and I, that kind of thing. And so if there was anything paranormal going on at that time, I didn't catch on because I was just stressed to the max. I was just totally stressed. And it was also during that time that my mom was still watching that little boy. So maybe,
Did you ever
maybe it
experience
was.
any missing time, anything like that? Because, I mean, you did see the UFOs and things. I mean,
Not when I saw the UFOs, but there was two different instances that was really creepy that happened. One was at the school. I moved in here in 2012, and one day I had to come up here because the plumber was going to fix my plumbing, so I had to come over here and deal with that. And then I go back to the old building, and I was tutoring a friend of mine who's a security guard with his English comp for college, and we were in the kitchen talking, and I had just swept the floor because we were getting ready to eat lunch. I think we're getting ready to eat, or they were, and we were just standing there like 2 feet apart, and then all of a sudden, right between us was this burst of white sparkly stuff, and this little sock drops on the floor, and I'm like, and it all happened so fast. I was like, his name was Brian. I go, Brian, did you see that? And he's like, no. And I looked down, I said, where'd the sock come from? And I still have that sock to this day. I brought it in the house with me because I didn't want to leave it at the school. And we asked all the kids if it was theirs. And I said, Brian's sister lived with him temporarily and she had little kids. I said, did this fall out of your pocket? Maybe your sister did laundry and it got stuck in your jacket pocket or something? He goes, no, it's not hers, but I'll ask. I'm like, okay. So that was the weirdest, time warp thing. Then the second one happened when I worked at town hall. I was looking for a sewer payment check for my sister, and that white sparkly stuff happened again, and I could see my hands moving really fast, but it was going really slow. It was really weird, but her check disappeared and I never found it. I thought, what in the world is going on? And I've tried Googling in that, and I could not find anything that satisfied my curiosity. I don't understand what was going on. And I had sleptwalked before. That was at my parents' house. And, just too many weird things going on. But that's about the only missing time that I've really experienced. But I do tend to space out when I drive. I have to literally shake my head to keep focused on driving. I don't know what that's about, but other than that, yeah, I've never had experienced any missing time that I can remember.
The reason I ask is because a lot of times people that have had these experiences, they'll have missing time that kind of goes along with their, ghosts experiences and what they think are ghosts. And then again, it's both. I mean, they're having these abduction scenarios, and at the same time they're experiencing ghosts. And the explanation for me, it's not rocket science. It's not like it's hard to figure out. I think that when you are experiencing abduction and you're going through that, I think that it tends to be you're coming out of your body pretty regularly. And so if there's something in a spirit form around, you'll see it. I talked about it on the show on last Saturday's episode. We were with Chris James, Jason McLean, Jason Barley. And we talked about, we went over a few, different cases just briefly that we've talked about on the show. And I know you guys remember this, where the one guy had the alien abduction going on, and there was an entity in his room that was appearing. I think it was coming out of his closet.
Yeah.
And it actually attacked one of the...
Talking about the Sentinel?
Yeah, the Sentinel. It attacked one of the aliens. And when he was telling us that, we were like, whoa, wait. Well, since that episode aired, we've gotten 3 other cases of something very similar. One was like this cube thing where this... I don't want to call it a crawler because it looked like it had jagged, weird edges on its body, like it was chiseled out of diamonds or something. It was weird, and it crawled out of this skinny, flat, square. Well, I guess it was a rectangle, really, and was crawling around this guy's daughter's room, and he witnessed it, and he was sleeping in the room because she kept saying something was happening, so he slept in it, and something was happening. And oddly enough, that happened in Oklahoma too. It happened in Oklahoma, well, right outside of Oklahoma City. And turned out that there was something else coming out of there too, which were akin to grays, like aliens or whatever. And they were using this mirrored diamond-looking portal rectangle thing that was it was actually coming out of her mirror, and then these things would come out of it. And one of them, he would see it around the house in the corner of his eye. And once he saw it full on in the bedroom, he knew it was real. And so then this thing ended up like attacking these grays. It was so bizarre. So you get these weird stories, but I really think that the alien / UFO, whatever, it tells the tale. I really believe. I think that it has a lot to do with what's going on with these people and their encounters and mirrors and whatever. I mean, it's just such a weird thing, and we're going to talk about that on the show too at some point. But go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. No, and as I was reading some of my things, I take that back. It didn't start I started taking notes in 2002. I think what happened was the first page I dated it 2004 because I was going back in time, but yeah. Okay, so the during that time when the people at the school were doing the wicked things, like they were harassing me, bullying me, that kind of thing. That's what I would consider wicked. I would have to catch up my work, so I would go home, eat dinner, rest a little bit, and go back at night because I felt comfortable at the time until all this started happening. So according to my notes, I'd be over there at night and I'd be working and stuff, and then I would hear loud, let's see, the paper's turned here, loud footsteps in the hallway. And you could always see shadows day or night because the light was on or the sunlight of people walking through, and it would stop right at the entrance. There was no shadow. And I was like, okay. So I would always say hello and nobody would be there because I left the door unlocked. And then I'd go back to work and still shaking. Then I'd hear the floorboards creak like they were coming into the room. So I called my mom on the cordless phone to see if there was any vehicles parked because I was in a vulnerable spot, because there was like 5 doors to this place and we usually kept them all locked. Mom would say no. And this went on several times. So I asked her to come over here and help me check out the building. She said she couldn't see anybody. And I said, you know what? I'm going to lock myself in. Didn't make any difference. I kept hearing them. So eventually I decided that I would, if I could, I would take some of my work home and just do it at the house, you know. So one of the worst experiences that me and another student had, we were in the same classroom. The room was full of kids. They were all doing their work. The rule is they're not allowed to turn around and look at anybody. It's not like a public school where public school kids just do whatever, you know. This is back in 2004. Or I wrote it in 2004, so it's probably around that time. My back was to the main entrance. And these used to be classrooms, but we knocked them all out and we remodeled and when our new building was built. So I was helping Kyler do her help her math because she was sitting down and we were at the testing table and I was standing to her left and my hair was all down. So so through the strands of my hair, I could see this woman standing to my left. And this all happened so fast. So before I even had a chance, because what our rule was, or our policy was, that any parent or guardian of a child could come in and just observe the school if they wanted to make sure their kid was doing okay. So I thought that's what happened. And I have excellent ears, and I knew I didn't hear the kitchen door, but I thought, well, maybe they just were quiet and they came in. These all thoughts were going through my head within a split second, and then Kyler started to scream. And then the image disappeared, but I felt this weird sensation by my left cheek. And my dad comes running down the hall and goes, "What's going on?" And Kyler says, "There was a ghost standing by Miss Dawn. There was a ghost standing by her. She was fixing to either scratch her or slap her." And I said, "Yeah, I did feel something, but I never had any marks on my face." So I said, "Okay, Dad, let me take Kyler out of here. You keep all the other kids were just turning around looking because they were scared. They don't know why Kyler was suddenly screaming." And so I told Kyler Kyler was a little hyper. She probably still is. So I told her, I said, "Don't tell me what you saw. I want you to write it down. And then I will tell you if I saw the same thing." She goes, "Okay." I said, "Well, before you write it down, you need to calm down because I want you to make sure you got it straight in your head." So here's what she wrote, and this is exactly what I saw. She said, now I didn't see this woman's from the waist up. I just saw her from the waist down because, you know, my head and my hair, you know, blocked the view. She said it was a baby light blue sunflower dress with yellow flowers. She's very descriptive. She was wearing a dress. She had blonde hair that was curled under, kind of like old-fashioned ways, how in the 60s women would do that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She said she had a long figure, dark blue eyes, white pantyhose, the same height as Miss Dawn, black shoes, had a little nose, and weird lips with pink lipstick. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't see the head, but the other stuff matched. I was like, oh my gosh, you know. And so I think it was that same day she saw her again. And well, here's what Kyla wrote. This is her actual word, dated December the 8th, 2004. She says, "I was sitting at the testing table and Miss Dawn was leaning over to my left side to help me on my math. A lady came up right next to her, and I put in some of the stuff like my left side, her left side. And she was looking like she was going to slap her or scratch her, and her hand was about 2 or 3 inches away from her face, and her head was really, really close, or was like really close to Miss Dawn's head." And then she said, and that was the initial visual that I saw. And then she said, "I was scoring." They have to score their own work. That teaches them honesty and responsibility. And she says, "And then I had a question, so I asked Miss Dawn. Then I went back to scoring, and I looked up, and that," she said, and she's talking about the woman. "She's standing next to the lockers where Miss Dawn's purse is, and she was leaning her left hand on the edge of the lockers by the bookcase, and her right hand on her hip. Dark blue eyes, she said, stared at Kyler, then moved her eyes left and right. And I don't know what she was talking about. I guess maybe looking back and forth. And then
Like
Kyler
shifty-eyed.
stopped looking. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. And then Kyler stopped looking, and then she was gone. And then she said that she went through into my office, which is right there by the locker area. And I guess I was in another part of the building, and I came in, and I felt this cold draft, and I was like, okay. So Kyler goes, Miss Dawn, did you see the woman that went into your office? Now, she already knew it was a ghost. I don't know why she thought, it was somebody there to see me. And I said, no, but I felt a cold draft. She goes, oh, Miss Dawn, I'm so scared. I'm scared. And to this day, I'm still friends with her. She won't talk about it. She said, no, Miss Dawn, I can't talk about it. That's just too horrifying. I'm like, you don't know what horrifying is. You just had that one experience. I had multiple experiences.
Well, it's subjective because if you have a lifetime of experiences and that's the only one she has, that's all. She doesn't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she just won't. Yeah, she won't talk about it. I don't blame her, because it bothers me.
Yeah.
Did y'all
definitely.
ever have any idea?
Especially,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, especially being at such a young age, seeing something like that definitely would traumatize you, especially if you don't have the same kind of experience dealing with it like you did, even though, it obviously was terrifying for you as well. Having at least some prior experience with it probably made it a little understandable about like, oh, at least I know what this is. But I kind of thankfully, when I had my experience, I was already a teenager by then, so I already knew what ghosts were and I already had a belief in it, so it wasn't something that terrified me. But just thinking about now being like a young, real impressionable age and having to deal with seeing something like that would definitely traumatize you more, I think. I had a quick question to you about your Bigfoot stories and UFO and stuff. When you obviously you've had experiences with ghosts, but prior to that Bigfoot and UFO experience, like what was your thoughts about Bigfoot and UFOs? Like, did you believe in it, or were it kind of just like something that you didn't really think about much?
No, my my grandmother, my mom's mom, she came from Arkansas, so she called them boogers. She goes, "Don't let the booger get you," because and so she sorry, I got choked up because I got drainage problems.
Do you need to take a drink real
it's all
quick?
good.
Oh no, I took a drink when y'all were talking.
Okay.
I'm fine. Yeah, and I did, I did believe in it. Now that in the Bigfoot, anyway. I remember when I was a little girl, my dad would. I play the piano too, so Dad would make up the song about Bigfoot, and that's how I learned when I was really, really little. But he just said, "Oh, it's just somebody in a costume," because back then he grew up in the '60s when the word Bigfoot was coined,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so now, as far as the aliens go, the I know that our government does a lot of this kind of stuff. That's my personal belief because, God, the Bible says He didn't create any other creatures except for our planet, But, but then again, we don't know. The only one who knows for sure is God, and He's not going to tell us if He
Right.
created other beings on the earth. Because the way my dad explained it to me, being a pastor, he said Christ died for one reason only, and that was the sins of the people. And he's not about to go on these other planets and die each time for other creatures. So I said, well, that makes perfect sense. But I said, well, then what are people seeing? Now, keep in mind, I was a teenager asking Dad all these questions. And he said, well, demons have massive amount of power. They're either demonic, they're hallucinations, or the government is doing it. So I said, okay, that makes sense. But during the time I know the President Clinton was in office during the time I saw UFOs, but I don't know if that has any correlation to it. Um, because we moved from Arkansas when Clinton was the president, and I don't think that had anything to do with it. Even though my dad shook his hand once when he was working at a bus company, he was a governor at the time, and I'm like, oh gosh, Dad,
I
But,
don't know what kind of energy you're playing around with, Dad.
huh?
So you don't know what kind
Yeah,
of energy you're getting from that handshake, Dad.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And he's the leadership was one of the reasons why we moved back. But I think it was because God wanted us to move back to Oklahoma because my parents are both from Tulsa,
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's how I feel about the Bigfoot and stuff. In my opinion, if a creature is eating things, it's not going to be demonic because they don't eat. They have no reason to eat. They can pretend to
Mhm.
eat, but so I think the Bigfoot is just nothing but an unspecified primate of some kind because they make
Yeah.
primate noises, but they're highly intelligent. But there's a lot of unanswered questions, and if I would have like a 10,000 questions for God if I could, but He's the only one that can answer those questions, and He
Yeah,
doesn't
I
care to
think.
come down here and tell us because He's like, I don't care about that. I care about you and your relationship with me, is what He'll say, you know, which is
Yeah.
true, but I'm a very curious person. I love to learn new things, and I'm like, I would like to know what I'm seeing, and then I can know how to deal with it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that certain things that we just have to accept that we're never really going to know for sure, because I think that not everything is given to us to
Be
understand.
discovered.
Yeah, to understand, but
Mhm.
that's okay. Like, we don't have to understand everything. We don't have to know everything. Just like, okay, that we can never live a perfect life, but it's in the pursuit of that goal that we find some answers, that we find some fulfillment. So, and it's the same thing with with learning something, with researching something. Like, even though you're never going to have all the answers you want, it's the pursuit of those answers that brings the fulfillment.
Well, what's also beautiful is that it's you have to look at how humanity works as a whole. It's everything you discover and everything that you spend your life discovering gets passed on to the next human, who then uses that to discover, and it keeps on passing on. So then you may not in your life be able to achieve a perfect life, but hopefully through your life and through the lives of everyone, we can reach a path later on in the future where people are living better and they're doing more good, and they a lot of the troubles and the tribulations and the struggles that people experience today, maybe that won't be something that affects them because of the life that you're living right now. And I think people forget that, and they might think that, what they experience and what they are doing isn't important, or like, why is it happening to me? And it's like, who knows? It could be something that might help someone years in the future that you will never meet, but it could help them discover something that could really help someone else. And then that, kind of landslides into a bigger picture. So I think, you have to learn to be, you have to learn to learn on this planet. And then you also have to learn to be appreciative of everything that you go through. And I think that is kind of like the ideal perfect life to me, or is the way to live it, because it's trying to achieve perfection, I think, leads you into a pitfall of criticizing yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you, s-
Mhm.
like I said, you just have to accept that certain things are just not going to be, but not give up on the pursuit of those things. So I'm curious, and forgive me if you answered this earlier, but did you ever find out like any backstory to that this spirit that y'all saw in the school? Like, I mean, who was it? Where did they come from? Why are they there? Anything like any kind of history to it?
No, I'm really good at research, so I tried, and we have our church auditorium is over 100 years old, and then the wings were built like in the 60s, 70s, something like that.
Hmm.
And so we had some old photos. So I was looking through old photos and couldn't find anything. And so I just decided, okay, I couldn't tell if I knew what year that her clothes looked, like how modern it was, like in the past. I could kind of go from there. But I do know that my little nephew, well, he's 26 now. Um, before, yeah, he's
That's
not so
my
little
age.
now.
He'll always be your little nephew, no matter what. So.
Yeah, Wolf always calls me a kid.
You are.
Yeah. Yeah, I have two nephews and a niece from my sister in that order, two boys and then my niece. And before he started our preschool program, we were out. My sister brought him from the house in the car, I guess. And mom was watching him, so she's probably picking him. So we were outside at the swing set, and he kept waving to this window. And I said, "What are you doing?" My sister did not let them watch anything scary. No cartoon scaries, not Scooby Doo, nothing of that. Because she said, "I don't want them growing up like we did." Well, too bad. It happened anyway. And Noah said there was this little girl waving to him in the window. And I'm like, okay. Carrie said, okay, it's time to go home. So they went home. And then we didn't know he was slightly autistic. And keeping track of so many kids when they have to go to the bathroom is really hard because the bathroom is at the wing is like there's an auditorium, then there's a wing going out this way and a wing going out that way. So they could have easily gone out the door. One of the exit doors was right by the bathroom. So some of these boys and girls wanted to escape school. So I always had to constantly say, okay, if they're not back at a certain time that I feel they should be, I'd go track them down. And I noticed the bathroom door was open, and I was like, Noah, where are you? That's my nephew. And he was underneath the table shaking and crying. I said, what are you doing under
Oh,
here?
no.
And he said the name Sally is trying to scare me. And I'm like, that's the first name we ever heard. I said, how do you know her name is Sally? And of course, I got goosebumps all over talking to him. And he said she chased me down the hall going, ah. I'm like, oh, gosh, don't do that, Noah. It gives me
Oh,
goosebumps.
God.
Yeah. And oh, gosh, it was just, he described the face, and it's like, okay, Noah, stop. And I'm already traumatized, from all my experiences. And so sometimes he wouldn't even go to the bath. My niece wouldn't even go to the bathroom. She saw too many weird things. And I said, okay, I will stand in the hallway away from the door if that will help. She said, no, Aunt Dawn, because the bathroom is haunted too, of course. That's right across the room from where the seance happened. And they would see shadows underneath the door. They would, and I would always try to debunk everything. If they heard something, but they'd always hear their name whispered. Whatever student was there, that's how some of these girls would tell me, and the boys would go, Miss Dawn, I heard my name whispered down the hall. There's nobody down there. I'm like, oh gosh, here we go again, And so I probably had over 100 kids go through there, in the school, like probably maybe 150. I don't know. The numbers are, I don't know what the numbers are. And the no, this is an old church building. So the preschool room at that time used to be the nursery. So they always had the door to the girls' bathroom because if a little kid had to go to the bathroom, they just opened up the door and shut the other door instead of going around because it was just, right there because little kids can't hold it very long. So this is another story that gives me the goosebumps to this day, and I don't like going in that room. There was young woman, who was in our church for a short time, and she was our preschool teacher. Her name was Michelle, and she played the piano. So when I walk in, we were getting ready to have chapel. So I walk into the school where the kitchen door is. I could see her playing the piano. My dad's in there talking to her and talking to other kids. So I had to go to the bathroom. So I went down the bathroom. No way she could have passed me or anything. Because usually I'd go to the bathroom when I get there, and she'd be in her room, either reading a book or, let's see, what else would she be doing? Listening to music or something, preparing for the kids' day. And she'd always look up at me and smile, and I'd say hi and hi. So this time, she's still playing the piano. I'm walking down the hall. It's a long hallway. I look in the room, and there she is sitting down, reading a book, and she gave me the coldest, evilest look. And I said, "What did not keep in I'm not a morning person. It takes me a good hour or two to wake up mentally, you know." So I'm sitting there, and I go into the bathroom. I'm like, "What did I do to her that she gave me that look?" And I'm still hearing the piano play, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that is not her in the room. That is a ghost of her."
Huh.
And I was freaking out. I'm like, okay, I have two options. I could go down the hallway and not look and run down the hallway, or I could go out the exit door and come back in around the kitchen. So I
When you say
decided
a
to change it.
ghost of her, do you mean like it looks similar to her, or is it like kind of like a doppelganger, like a copy of her?
Yeah, like a
Oh,
doppelganger. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, hair, you name it, face, dress, everything. So that was what it was, and that was the second one that scared me because I was like, that thing could have gone through the door or the wall or opened it up, and then there's only like a really tiny window, and I was like, I'm not gonna jump out of this window, break it, you know. But I probably would have screamed, and then my dad would have ran down. But so when I went back into the auditorium after I went down the hallway. I purposely did not look in there, and I said, "Dad, has Michelle been in here the whole time?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Why?" I said, "Well, I thought I saw her down the hall." He goes, "No, she didn't leave the room." I'm like, "Okay, that's all I needed to know, Dad." So I didn't want to tell him. My dad was not very. He didn't believe what we were seeing, and I was like, "Dad, all these kids can't make stuff up, and I'm not leading them on, telling them, 'Hey, did you hear something?' They come to me and tell me stuff, you know." And I always tell them they can tell me anything they want to, and ghost or not ghost, you know. And I said, if you're gonna do something, he said, "What about my parents?" I was like, "Well, that's your decision if you want to tell your parents." I said, "But if you tell me something private that's going to hurt somebody or yourself, I'm definitely going to tell your parents."
Oh
So
yeah.
that's how we had that rapport going on, and they
What a
always
snitch.
trusted me. Yeah, kind of like a snitch, yeah. And so they would come up with me and tell me stories, and I'd say, "Okay, I got to write this down," or I'd have them write it down if they were old enough to write it down. And so those were the two main things that happened, and I've got like a book of stories, and some of them I've retyped them all, and they're saved in the same book that I have. And I thought, well, one day I might just write another book, this time real stories, but keep people's names out of it, you know.
Have you? It's so of the stories you got, how much did you give us tonight?
Oh,
Like a
probably
percentage,
about
maybe.
less than 1%.
Wow. Then we need to have you on record, for the podcast. We can have you come on and tell your stories.
Yeah,
For sure.
because as of December the 5th of 2023, I have 278 stories.
Wow.
Wow.
And this is all like encounters that you've encountered.
Yes. Uh-huh.
That's
The
funny.
latest one, yeah, go ahead.
No, you talk.
Oh, the latest was January 29th of this year.
So you catalog it. There's a woman up in Minnesota who did that, up in St. Paul, and she was telling me that she had over 200 experiences in this house that she lived in, but it was in one house, and it was her grandparents' house, and she inherited it, and just had so many things happen there. And I told her, I was like, "Well, why don't you move out?" She said, "Oh no, I could never do that. The spirits need me here." And I'm like, yeah, I was like, some of them don't seem like they really want you there. So maybe it's kind of like a one-sided relationship.
Get out. I know you need me.
I think we've all seen people in relationships where it's very one-sided. They're like, that one person is just head over heels, and the other person's like, eh. And the person that's all head over heels, you couldn't possibly convince them that the other person doesn't care about them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we had so many experiences in the old building that my brothers and I set up. My brothers and I, since we were our teenagers when camcorders first came out, we were always into the movie making business, and they still are, but they're not going at it. They wrote this book, but they're not. I don't think they're done with it. And it's been over 10 years since I've even touched it. And I'm like, you guys are way behind. I've already had 2 books published, working on my third. I got to finish that one. And well, technically, I published one at Office Depot, but that was just to print so my friends and family could get a prerequisite of reading it. So we set up cameras one night, and my brother Paul he's the electrician and computer whiz in our house, and he has this extremely large, expensive, massive microphone. It could pick up noises outside. And we set it up in the learning center. That's what our classroom's called. And this is in the old building. And he put the camera right next to the filing cabinet. Well, this is kind of funny. Looking back now, it's funny. So we had hours of tape to go through. And we never saw anything, but what we heard sent chills down our spine. So my brothers and my sister worked at Whirlpool, and they worked late out the same hours. Get up at 3:30, get home at 3:30. So Mark was asleep, and I'm in his house watching it. And all of a sudden, we heard this loud noise, and then a bang, loud noise and bang. And Mark shut up and goes, "What the blank was that?" And Mark's not supposed to cuss, but he does it anyway. And he come out of that sleep so fast. I started laughing. I said, but I got scared. I said, "It was on the tape, Mark." And he goes, "What?" So we were around it, and he's like, "We did that. We were around it 7 or 8 times." And he said, "We can't figure that out." So we called my brother Paul, and he was walking at the cemetery, so we had to wait for him to walk back. Meantime, we're still rewinding. We brought my mom over, and she said, "That sounds like a filing cabinet drawer." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I was like, "Mark, didn't I tell you guys to put the camcorder at the very back of the building so you could catch anything?" But they didn't catch it except for audio because it was right standing next to it. But then they caught what sounded like voices, like an old-timey preacher preaching, the type that yells and screams a lot in the 1800s. And I told him we need to go back there. I said, "Oh, I think these things are gone now." And I'm like, maybe they're dormant, because we haven't been over there since 2016 for school anyway. And so what was even creepier, now I don't know, one of my former students told me this story. I don't know if he's lying or not, but he said a group of his friends, or maybe 2 or 3 friends, I wouldn't say a group, they had a camcorder. They were walking down the street at night, and they zoomed in on my office window, and they said they saw this woman in white just kind of glowing in the window, and they took off and ran. Well, he's kind of known for telling stories. I said, "Well, let me see the video." He goes, "Oh, I can't find it." I said, "How convenient. Yes, you can't find it." Sure. So I don't know if his story is true, but the house across the street, cattywampus from them, this guy, and he still lives in town today, he was over there drinking, and I thought, he's probably alcohol based, I'm not sure, but he said he kept seeing the lights go on and off in the building. And this was just within the last 15 years, and this was during school, but we weren't having school because it was at nighttime. And he said he watched the whole time, and nobody parked there, nobody came in or out of the building. He could see the lights going on and off and on and off. I was like, "Well, the building is haunted, so." And he said, "I got freaked out." I said, "Try working there." Because that was harrowing for sure. And I did try one time. When you get fed up, you get fed up. So I was cooking the kids' lunches one time, and you have to be very experienced to do this, and I'm not experienced, and I'll tell you why you have to be experienced, because this stuff is creepy. I walked down the hall a little bit while something was microwaving, and I just said, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I want you all to be gone." And whatever was down the hallway, I didn't see it, but I could hear it. And they just said my name like this. I go, Dawn. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm done. Nope, I can't do it. You know, sent chills down my spine. And the reason I said you have to be experienced is because probably about 20 years ago or so, my dad was having open heart surgery. He never had a heart attack before that. And while we were waiting, one of his preacher friends told us some stories about demon possession. He said, in order to cast the demon out, Catholicism doesn't work because you have to have the power of Christ, and they don't believe that Christ died for their sins like Christians do to a point. Now, some do, but some don't. He said you have to put them. He said first you have to make them run a series of tests to see if they're not faking. You don't say your name. You don't say you got to get a group of men or women and pray, and you got to have you can't wear watches. You got to take everything off that would have your name on it. He gave us this whole list of stuff, and I don't know why he was telling us this. I guess to ease our minds, but he said you have to make sure there's no sin in your life. He just went through all these steps. So I said, I probably had some sin in my life, but they're going to trick you like that. And I'm like, yeah, I can't deal with it. So I'm like, nope, I'm done.
I mean, one of the things too, and I'm not Catholic. Somebody tried some other channel, the stupid channel, whatever it's called. Gosh, I'm so tired. What is the name of it? The abdominal indigestion, whatever. They had made some statement saying that I was evil because I celebrate Halloween, which I barely pay any attention to it, but it's there. And then they said I'm a Catholic. Well, I'm not a Catholic. I was baptized as a Catholic as a baby, and then I was baptized as a Baptist, and then I was baptized non-denominational. I've said that many, many times, but people, they just pick and choose whatever they want to hear, and and so that's pretty much, But one of the things I do know about the Catholics is that some of what you said is correct, and the way that they don't. And if you're Catholic in the audience, I'm not attacking you, and I'm not saying anything. There's nothing personal. But the idea of salvation seems to be lost in the way that they believe by virtue of being a Catholic and going and confessing your sins to a priest, like that absolves you from sin, that you've committed. And then because I've talked to a lot of my Catholic friends and I've asked them about the prayer of salvation, and they really don't observe that. Now, some of them do, like you said, but a lot of them don't. And I do have a problem with just organized religion in general. And of course, people who don't like you are going to take that and run with it and try to paint you into some sort of corner that they can say, look, this guy, he's admitting he doesn't like Christians, he doesn't like Muslims, blah, 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 blah. And the truth is that I like everybody. I just don't believe in organized religion. I just don't think it works. It always turns into money grabbing and control. And when it comes to dealing with evil spirits and demons, they will, more times than not, most of the time actually, they will exacerbate the problem. Most recently, I had some people who, their cousins, my cousin's cousins, I guess, they had somebody come to their house and start saging it up. And that just made things really bad. And then they had somebody come and pray and do all this casting out and stuff, and then it does a lot of times just makes things a lot worse. And I've had Catholics, claim to know all about demons and this and that, and then I don't want to argue with them. I don't want to sit here, and everybody has their own opinion. But what I will tell people right now on this show is, how can you all be right? How can everybody be right? The chances are that most everybody's wrong, really. I mean, because not everyone can be right. So, but that to me, using organized religion and just reading from the Bible is not going to make these things go away. Calling on the name of Christ and having actual strong faith is the best thing you can do. And if it comes from the heart, and you truly believe and you really do love God and you follow God through Christ, yeah, that's the best. To me, that's what works. And people have asked me many times, Don, like, they're like, why do you believe like that? Why do you? Because it works. Because that's what works for me. That's what I've done many times to get rid of problems, and I'm just going to go with what works. I don't feel the need. Somebody said earlier about when you're messing around with something, seances or whatever, you need to have a Catholic priest there to do this or that or whatever. I don't. Why? Why does that guy? What's he going to do that I can't? I
Right.
mean, it's there's really no. And so my parents left the Catholic Church when I was really young, but the Baptist Church, I can be real honest, I didn't feel anything from them either. Like I felt very little. Like we went there as a kid, and it was just like a bunch of singing. I mean, there's power in the blood, and we would sing like a lot of cool songs. I remember like what was the one song? Amazing Grace. I enjoyed the songs, but then when the preacher would start talking, I would just fall asleep, and then I would get spanked for falling asleep because I didn't feel anything from it. The non-denominational church seemed to be, you would think it would have been the Baptist, but I felt like I was more judged by the non-denominational church, and they're supposed to be the non-denominational church where everyone's welcome. And they were just very, very overbearing and judgmental, and they wanted to know what you were doing in your private life, and a lot. And eventually that got to where my parents kind of chafed into that. And, and so, I don't care what these hypocrites say, a lot of them, and they're like these almost like televangelists now that have these channels too, and they're using Christianity, they're using God to make money. That's what they're doing. They're telling people, to give them donations and whatever, and they're really just using it, and they're passing judgment on everyone else and everyone else's channel. And I could really give a fresh bucket of hamster snot what they do or say or think, because they're all full of crap. So whatever you do when you deal with these entities. And I'm saying this to you, Don, the guest, and to the listeners, you do what you feel works. But be very careful, because when you start throwing things out there, you're issuing challenges. And if you're not prepared for the backlash or the fallout of what comes from opening up with a very powerful demon, or truly, God forbid, a fallen angel or an archon, you're in big, big trouble, okay? Because, they don't care. They're going to use every single sin against you, and they use people as their cannon fodder. I think Rick Atterstein, he's a Catholic, but he said it best on my show. That they use people as cannon fodder. They'll throw them at you, and it's just an endless assembly line of people. Yeah. So, Don, I'm going to stop it there. I got to run, but I want to continue this. You have so much material, and I would like to get you on again, and possibly get you on to do the recording, so we can go more in depth and whatever. But before we go, anybody have any quick questions for Don? I'm going to answer a few of those, and then we're going to do the giveaway.
Okay.
So
I just did want to say one thing. I don't have any problem with Catholics. I was just mentioning that because what, the guy told me,
And the truth
I didn't mean any disrespect to anybody.
Yeah, me neither. I wasn't trying to disrespect them, or but I think that I understand, because my aunt's probably, hopefully my cousin, he listens. Hopefully she's not telling her right now. And she's a devout Catholic. My grandmother's, my dad's stepmother's raised me as my grandmother. She was a devout Catholic. So I went to CCD. And I questioned it to the ground, and they were just like, why are you always questioning, And then when I went to the non-denominational Abeka Academy, same thing. It's a Christian school, science academy. And they were like, you're here on a scholarship, and you're questioning the Word of God. And I would tell them the same snarky thing, and I got spanked like every day. Every day I got spanked, because it was corporal punishment back then. They didn't care. And it was in a Christian school. They would spank you. Back then, the public school would spank you. They didn't care in the 80s, And so I would tell them, I'm not questioning the Word of God. I'm questioning the person delivering it, which is you. And, they were so quick to spank you for anything. It made me think, well, I don't think these people are really, they don't have my best interest at heart. God does, But people who set themselves up as a representation of God on earth, the power always corrupts. I mean, there's just no way around it. Man is not made to wield it. It's just not for people to have. There are very few people that are qualified to do it. And the people that are qualified to do it, I will say this, are the people that can get up every day and pass judgment on themselves. They can look themselves in the mirror and can say, what can I do to get better? Really, really, truly do that. And then test yourself. And I'm going to let you run, Don. I'm going to be in touch. Please record with us, because then we can go more in depth, and then we can reach the podcast, which reach tens of thousands of more people. So definitely want to have you back. So thank you for being our guest.
Okay, you're welcome. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And if y'all have any insight maybe to help me figure out what some of the stuff was with the Bigfoot or whatever, I'm all ears. You can get through Josh or get through me somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I can
Yeah,
send it along.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be back.
Lead Tracker E says, Don, did you close the spiritual doors and cleanse the building?
No, because the building is, we never did do that. My brothers did challenge them. I told Paul, stop challenging them. And then he thinks they went over to the new building. And I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah, because now our school went back to the new building. So,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we've had
All
some
right,
experiences there, but yeah.
So I'm going to let you run. We will continue this. This isn't over. And I thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing your information.
Okay, you're very welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that's Dawn Orwig, and she has a lot of really good information, and there's a lot more meat on that bone. And we'll probably review and then go over it on the so here's what I'm going to tell you, folks. Like, obviously the numbers for the chat are low. This is low for us compared, and it's so I do believe that right now it's time to start declaring that the sky's falling. And, I hate to say it, but my detractors are right. Our show's falling apart, and, we've hit rock bottom. It's over, man. Game over. Won't you put her in charge? Oh, it's so awful. I'm so scared. No, I think what it is too, we've had a problem with Fridays. It just seems to be, I don't know. I mean, it's just not working. I don't know what's going on with Friday, man. We barely hit 400. Sunday, we just do really well. We thought we could start a little earlier, and then we tried. And Fridays are a struggle for me anyway because of the businesses. I got to take care of things, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're gonna keep going through until the end of March, but it's not looking good for Friday. I think Friday is going to end up probably. We may not make it out of the spring with Friday. Friday used to seem to be really banging, but it just seems like it's not now. And unfortunately, I didn't realize this, but Bettina had gone live earlier, and I think Blondes and Booze were on too at the same time. So, other people want to do stuff and got things to do, and I don't know. Fridays just aren't doing it. I don't know what's going on. I mean, you'd think people would stay up later on Friday, but I don't know. People are dropping like flies, and my channel is dying. That's why we're about 6 people away from. I think we're literally 6 people away from 31,000. But yeah, we're dying. Okay, whatever. Larry, thank you for that donation. And as you know, if I say anything about donations, the Sinister Six, the Sinful Six, whatever, we gotta start calling them Sinful Six because there's more of them. And they're little champions that come along and say mean things. they key in on it. So apparently, if you have a channel and you do all this work, you're not supposed to get paid for it. And how dare you wear gold? Because if you wear gold, that means you're rich. And, you know, like Anthony corrected me the other day, and he actually looked at he's like, don't be telling people you're upper middle class because you're not. So, okay, sorry, I'm not. But I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you and say that I'm suffering and I'm poor, because I'm not. No. Because I work my ass off. And that's the only reason I'm not. I literally had 4.5 hours or 5 hours of sleep today. I got off of that live, and I ended up having to get up and do some stuff because people were messing around, calling and stuff happening. And if they find out you're awake, you know, I don't mean you guys, but work, you know. And oh God, I ended up not going to bed till 10:30, and I got up at 4. So how many hours is that? Whatever hours that is, that's how much sleep I've had, and I'm exhausted. And I had a really hard workout last night. So I don't know how to actually do this, because the guys are getting the stuff together for the mail-offs. And so we need to do 3 things. 3 things need to happen right now. One, we need to play a song for you. We're going to premiere the vampire song for you. We wanted to do that. I want to show you the video, and I don't want this to be some kind of bullshit where everybody thinks I'm self-aggrandizing. I don't give a crap. Come to my conference, and you will see that I'm 6'4", 380 pounds, and I'm not some big lard ass that lumbers around breathing hard with oxygen tanks, okay? Just come to the conference, and you'll see, all right? I'm a massive individual, but I'm not a big lard ass, okay? Understand that. In fact, at this next conference, you know what I thought about doing?
What?
Was bringing in a weight set, and I will do a bench press for everybody.
Oh God, who's gonna haul that thing?
That's what I'm saying. Oh. No, we can have one delivered. I actually looked into it. And there's a place in Austin that will deliver a weight set to you to rent.
Huh.
So you could rent, and we could actually have like we could even get an incline. An incline's harder to do. Yeah. And I could show everybody, you know. I don't know. I mean, but then again, I ended up hurting my rotator cuff at the conference.
That would be embarrassing.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a flat
Oh, never
bench.
mind. Nelly just said no. Nelly,
I'm already mad.
She is like so determined
Plus,
that I'm
that's
gonna
a huge liability.
fall over and die.
Some yokel's gonna get on there. I can do all this.
Legs flailing in the air.
Well,
I'm suing you, Josh
let's
Turner.
bring all these detractors on there, and let's see what you got. Let's see how strong you are. Or I could deadlift 500 pounds about 10 times. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's not. I'm not joking. Like, do you think I'm kidding? I'm not playing around. Is there a way to show that video on here of me doing the bench?
Did you put it?
I sent it to his email.
Okay.
Thank you for that donation,
not
Kate Hunter. I just saw
That's
that
a
on
Google
there.
Drive, too,
Thank
so.
you. But Fridays, we need the likes, folks. If you could go, please like the show. Give us the likes at least so we could get that, because, you know, I think Fridays are just, you know, maybe it's just not a good day anymore. Maybe because, you know, things go in cycles, and possibly Friday is just not the day anymore. I mean, it used to be a big night for everybody to do podcasting, YouTubing, whatever, and maybe it's just not now. I don't know. Maybe it's time to go to a different day or something. I don't know.
I'm trying to find it. Oh, it's making me so. Tony, send it to the
Sauce Man Slots. That'd be a good question for tomorrow night's show. Remember, tomorrow night we're going to be on here at 8 o'clock to 10 with tomorrow's Truth and Bass, and I think Chris James is coming back. And yeah.
Send it to who?
Send it to the old email, the original one.
First, let me ask the audience here who wants to answer this question. Do you want to see the video, or should I just post it to Facebook? I could just put it on Facebook. I mean, it's not a big
Yeah.
We'll just put it on Facebook. Go to my Facebook and check it out. And my Facebook is public, so even if you're not a friend of mine, you can see the video of me doing the benching. Like I said, I explained what should have happened, and I will rectify that this next time. I'm just going to get on there and do. I'm not going to do the 275.
We choose better weights. I mean, those weights didn't.
Yeah, because they didn't look right.
Yeah, they're
Like,
blending
one of them
in.
was like silver, and one of them was black, and they were 45s, but they looked like you could see it like in the background. It looked like one side was
Well, the problem was the actual bar was black itself, so it was like blending in.
blending in.
So it was like,
It looked like I had weight on one side, not the other.
yeah.
It was weird. And then I ended up doing the whole I did 40 reps.
Oh no, yeah, it was.
Yeah, or 275. I did 40 reps with 275. And so all these people that talk all this mess, I'd like to see you do this. Come out, do that. And where are your videos? All I saw was a skinny-armed punk who. How do you manage to be like skinny and flabby?
Yeah.
You only get one of those usually, but he managed to get both.
Skinny fat.
Yeah, but
I don't
apparently
understand
he has no flaws according to my enemies. He's a great guy, and they don't even know him. If he really knew who they were and he really believed the way he claims to believe, he wouldn't be their friend either. But apparently when it comes to me, all bets are off and everybody's friends. And whether you're the woo or you're the flesh and blood, it's all good as long as you're fighting the great evil. Basically, I'm Nazi Germany, and it's all good. Just jump on you. The whole world needs to come together to defeat the great evil, because God forbid I should bring people together and they're mad because I'm doing another conference. They're mad because I'm going to be syndicated. They're mad because of everything. You write books. Well, write better books. Stop writing 40-page books made with, AI. Nellie has a good one. She said you could post it as a short on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll just post it as a short. We'll post it as a short on here, and you'll see it. And I'm going to do this with multiple different workout stations. But what I want to do, and this isn't a self-aggrandizement thing, so I really want to do is get other people involved in weightlifting and helping yourself and become healthier. So if more people would be willing to watch and pay attention, I'll make a video going from station to station, and Anthony, and he could help out and do some of the stations and show you the routines. Together we could make a good video for you guys. So what we need to do right now, because we're not going to put that video up, we'll do that on a short. We need to do the giveaways. And what we need, because we're going to try mail off tomorrow. So if you win, listen to what I'm going to tell you. If you're chosen, I need your information now, tonight, before I leave this studio, which will be about 20, 30 minutes after the show is over. I need your information so I can do the mail offs and get it out to you tomorrow. Otherwise, you won't be getting it for another week. Who knows how long? Or it won't be mailed off for another week. So if you win tonight, you have to agree to give us your information now so that we can get it mailed off, because we can take it from the inventory and show you. Send it to you. So we're gonna do the giveaway right now, and then we're gonna play the new song that's gonna be released. And these are on Spotify, right?
Yeah. They're on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, iTunes.
Somebody called you?
No.
And Junior Vargas. Yeah. SpongeBob. Yeah, and so, if you want to see workout videos, not necessarily workout videos, but, weightlifting videos, well, I guess it would be workout videos, because I talked about it this morning. I want to show people the 1,000 push-up routine and then the shake weights. Now, I know shake weights look funny. They really do. but they will bust your ass, and I ain't kidding. And if you get 2 of them, you can do a ton of different workouts with them.
Yeah,
There's 10 exercises in particular. If you do them for a full minute, and we will show them to you. We will do the shake weight workout routine and show it to you, and then you do 1,000 push-ups with that, and then you do 1,000 arm circles, which are like out like this. Boy, it will really, your shoulders, you'll see a difference, believe me. And another thing that shake weight does is it loosens up a lot of stuff with your lymph nodes and stuff. And you'll see like certain spots that where the fat is real stubborn, it's visceral, it'll start to become subcutaneous and you'll start to lose it. And it's something else, man. So yeah, those are really good workouts. We'll actually do something. We'll do some stuff like that. It just depends, man. If you want to now, see, here's the thing. You know, when I said that I did 1,000 push-ups, I'm not talking. I don't do 1,000 push-ups at one time. That's insane. Like nobody does that. Okay, and so, you know, somebody that does 100 push-ups, you know, that's not a joke. If you can do 100 push-ups without stopping, that's very good. But that's what I do. But I do 100 push-ups. Sometimes if I'm really in a groove and I'm not sore as hell, I could do 200 without stopping. But it's different angles, and then there's different ones where you go like your hands are in like this, and you hit the tricep, and that you're trying to get that. You see the horseshoe right there? How that looks? Do you see that? And I'm not. Somebody's gonna make fun of this, I'm sure. But if you look at my arm. This is not a flex, okay? That's not a flex. That's a flex. Now you see the tricep right there. That's what you're going for right there. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to put your hands together like this. And so when you do them, they're called diamond push-ups. And then you can kind of move them out a little bit more, and you'll hit a different angle of your push of your triceps. And then of course you're trying to hit the chest. And I have pictures of my chest on Facebook. Go look. I mean, I like this idea that I'm this big sluggard who can't move around and is just like that's a bunch of bullcrap. I mean, I'm a big dude and I'm built very, very powerfully built, and so people they talk crap because they're weak. You know, and they think, well, you know what I can do? I'm quick because I'm little and scrawny. So if we got into a physical altercation, well, you know, I'm faster than him. Well, I also have a video of me hitting a speed bag. And if you want to see somebody with fast hands, go watch that speed bag video because you're not quicker than me either. I made a video. I got to find it. It's been about 5 years, but I did a routine about a year ago showing these two, Stefan and my other nephew, Zane, how to fully extend your leg and kick, doing Muay Thai kicks and hitting a heavy bag. And these guys can attest to this. When I kick that heavy bag with my shins, it sounds like a gunshot going off. So if you imagine somebody who has my strength and speed kicking you, what do you think's going to happen? I'm going to break your ribs and I'm going to knock your liver loose. You know, I mean, it's like that liver shot, dude, is very devastating. And some people will make the mistake and they'll try to block it with their arm. All that's going to happen is your arm's going to get broken, and then it's going to absorb the blow, and then you're not going to be able to block the next one, which is going to come to your ribs. Now, elbows, knees, forearms, all that stuff. I mean, it's not a joke, okay? There was a reason why people will come to me and ask me to train them, and it's not because, this guy just likes to talk. And somebody, I think it was Samuel Lemon on the, what's it called? Live this morning, he said they have not seen you in person. That's why. That's why you say the things you do, because you have not seen it. Now, if you had seen it, you wouldn't be saying all the nonsense or ridiculous things you say. You're talking a bunch of mess, and and this little punk calling me a gangbanger. Dude, I was never a gangbanger, okay? I didn't run around with colors and doing drive-bys, yo dog, and Wolf is not my gangbanger name, as he says. Wolf was a name that was given to me because of what I saw. Okay. And in fact, it was a jab at me, calling me Wolf Boy. And I just started telling people, don't call me that, because I didn't like it. But a lot of times with nicknames, it just stick. And then over the years, friends of mine that, I ran around with, I would give them nicknames, or me and my brother would give them nicknames. And they didn't always like their nicknames, but they stuck. And that's all it was. We weren't gangbangers, okay? There's a big difference between running around doing what we were doing and being a gangbanger. We weren't out advertising this mess, okay? We were very much like, a group of guys, what, just having fun, right? Just being wise. But these people, they want to make fun and say goofy things and whatever. And you're talking out of your ass. You don't know what you're talking about. Or maybe you do and you're just being cute and funny. But I'm not impressed with the 100 push-ups with some little suction cups thingy, okay? You're not impressing me, all right? What would really impress me is to see you come and do my routine, and you can do the lowest level of it, and I would be impressed with that. Barton Nunley did it. Nearly killed him, but he did it. He did the 14. Now, take that, okay, multiply it times 3.5. That's what I do. Barton can attest to it. Barton's in the chat right there. He can attest to it. Chris Clough came and worked out with me. He can attest to it too. Quantum Potential says, Josh, show the horseshoe again. It's right here. Take this ugly 1990. Look, there it is, the 1990s barbed wire. Everybody's got that. It's right there. Well, I guess I could do it on this one. It doesn't matter, either one, but it's, I got a different tab on this one. But the point is that, people can say whatever they want. Yeah, Letitia was very worried about Barton that day. Barton is a badass. He's a trooper. I was really shocked at how, he did it. He said, and he did the workout, but he felt like he was going to fall over dead, but he did it. And, Barton's in his 50s, and I'm shocked at how strong he is. He's got the strength of like 2 young men. And we were impressed.
Yeah.
We were impressed because...
With respect to Barton, that old man strength is a real thing.
Old man strength.
Yeah.
No, let me tell you something. We had my nephew's friend, this is the true story, we had him go to 24-Hour Fitness with us and do the very basic workout. And he couldn't even finish it, and then he got a nosebleed, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got a nosebleed, and then he started... acting like he was going to go unconscious or something, and we were like, okay, stop, you can't do this. It was years ago, but and then my nephew, when he first started doing it, he couldn't do it. So he couldn't do the 14. Now, Tony, same thing. And Tony had a former Olympic, what's his name?
Ed
Brown.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to tell you this: if you do the exercises and you do the 14, I promise you'll get bigger, you'll get stronger.
But look, I could give you that guarantee myself, because when I left high school, I was about 140, real skinny, scrawny kid. I mean, even more than this, you'd be surprised. But soon, I worked out with Wolf for 1 year when we didn't have a lot of work, so all we did was just eat and work out.
Yeah, I remember
doing the 14 exercises, and then I went all the way up to 180.
Yeah, you gained 40 pounds that summer. Well, here's what's crazy, okay? And a couple of your friends actually did our routine, and they kept doing it. One became a Marine, right? Okay, and so they took that, and there are a lot of guys that I've trained over the years. One became, we call him Bane. He became a strong man. He doesn't compete anymore. His mother was from Spain. His dad was from Norway, and he was a very strong guy. And I trained him. I also made friends with some of the other strong competitors. Like I knew Mark Henry. I worked out with him. Worked out with a few other people. I mean, I didn't know him, like we weren't best friends or anything like that, but I did, deal with this guy. And so I've worked out with Eric Konevsky, who's also a huge, strong guy, from the Russian gangster. I've worked out with a lot of fighters, done their routines, met a bunch of different, people, NFL football players, college football players, you name it. And so my routine is tried and true. And I came up with the idea for what I do with my routine when I was younger from just, talking to bigger, stronger people who were, and I never took steroids, never did any of that. I'm completely clean and took creatine. That was as most I ever did. And then HMB. Now, I would talk to these bigger guys and I would go up to them and I'd be like, hey, how do you do that? Show me. And so over the years, I developed what works. Now, if you want to incorporate Romanian deadlifts, which is one of my things I used to do, I say those because I like those a little better. I did do squats, but I also think that hack squats are important too. Now, I started having knee problems and I just switched over to straight up hack squats because I can't go all the way down because my right knee is messed up. But I still do pretty good, and I do my legs. I do 1,000 reps, and these guys know that I do 1,000 reps, and I do pretty good weight. I don't play around, and I don't take a lot of breaks, and it's almost like a cardio lift. Now, what I mean by that is like you don't stop and rest and just sit there and whatever. You go from station to station to station, and if you have time to catch your breath, well, you do. If not, you don't. A lot of people can't do that. And I'm not telling you should do that, but you can work your way up to these things. And so I want my paratroopers to be able to not be sick, not be ill, and be physically fit. That's why Nelly created the holistic healing page so that people could go and get supplements, things like that to help you. We love you, we care about you, and you're our listeners. And to me, you're part of our family. And there's been a lot of people who've reached out to me all hours of the day and night. If I'm busy, I'm busy. I can't talk back to you, but if I can, I will. And I'll answer your questions the best I can. Now, I can't tell you, as I'm not a doctor, and I'm not qualified to tell you this is exactly. I'm just telling you what works for me and what's worked for a lot of other people. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. You don't have to follow what I'm saying. You don't have to believe it. It's not the religious whatever. Don't do it. But if you can, it's never too late to start thinking about fitness and your health and things like that. There's a lot of things you can do, even if you can't afford to go to a gym. I do an entire leg routine at the house. I do front leg kicks. I do like 100 on each leg. Sometimes I do 200. I do sideways leg kicks, and then I do what I call the creeper walk. And Nelly always laughs when I do it because it's basically you squat down, you get up, and then you squat, you put the other leg in front of you, squat down and get up. I do 100 to 200 of those. And this is probably going to blow you away, but I do 800 squat thrusts. Am I lying?
No.
No.
You might be putting it a little lightly, if anything.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do 1,000. I've even done 1,600 reps at home because you don't have the weight. And sometimes I'll use kettlebells.
I managed to download that video. I can
Go
try to play
go
it.
ahead. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and show you the video. Here's the video.
Hang on, let me
of
see if I can get it to work
Not the
here.
most flattering video, but, and I did the best I could. Now, you remember, I had done 40 reps of 4 to do that. So that's 40 reps right there. I did that, and that is 225 40 times with the close grip, which is a lot harder than doing the outer grip's easy, really. But doing the close grip on the incline is a very hard. That is not an easy thing to do, and I make it look easier than it is, and that is a big mistake. That's one thing that Eric was saying. That he goes, you make the exercise look easy. And then people get on there and they try to do it and they're like, oh, crap, this is not what I thought it was. Like I said, and I promise you this is the truth, I did 40 reps prior to that with the regular straight bench, and I did it 275. And I did not do the last 10, 12 reps were not good reps. They were not full. I wasn't happy with it. And then I waited, and then I did 30. So I had actually done 70 reps on the seated bench, and then did that. So that was a big mistake. I probably could have done a lot more if I hadn't done that. But that's I did that just because I was like, it's something I've been wanting to do anyway, and I wanted to show people, hey. Exercise, lifting weights is really good. I lost over 130 pounds at one point by lifting weights and just eating healthy. Did no cardio. I used to swim a mile every day or every other day, and then I found out that several of my friends had done the same kind of stuff, doing a lot of cardio, and they got enlarged hearts. And so that's something as of a year and 4 months ago, I do not have an enlarged heart. That's so when you do a lot of cardio, that can happen. Now these guys can tell you, I don't get winded. We go walk all over the damn place, and I don't go, you guys, seriously, there is never a point in time when that happens. So I don't know where this bullshit comes from, people saying that I go walk around with oxygen. And, really and truly, I'm just going to come out and say it, dude. I'll crush your damn head like a melon. Okay? I got a grip like a gorilla. So people talk a lot of stuff, and they say all these ridiculous, silly things. You're not going to say it to my face, because I would just grab your head and boom, 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 and your head would explode. So stop with the silliness, and let's quit talking about the silliness, because you're not going to do anything. All right? Unless you have one of these. And that's the only thing you can do, because that's their go-to after the ad hominem. And then if they feel like they're threatened or whatever, then they say that they're going to bust a cap, because that's all you can do. But then we have those too. So, it's like that Chip Rossetti on Boardwalk Empire. You got guns, we got guns, everybody got guns. So, stop threatening me, stop talking about coming to Texas and doing this and doing that. Okay, once you see me hit the bags, you're not going to want to do it anyway. When you see me kick a bag and you hear the pop, you're not going to want that on your body. Okay? And not only that, but I'm also a good wrestler, a good grappler, and I trained years and years. And so, it's like Joe Rogan. I was watching him one day, and this guy, it was a video of him, and he was sitting in a bar. And this dude just keeps talking to him, and he's sitting there just being quiet. And Joe Rogan just he's one of those guys. He doesn't he'll tell you point blank, I'll choke you out, I'll beat your ass. And he told that guy, he's like, if you don't stop, and the dude just said, well, see you do this, and Joe just grabs him, and it wasn't a joke. He grabbed the guy and was just like, choke, 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 and then the dude was out, and then he let go, and everybody made this bunch of crap saying, oh, well, that was uncalled for. What are you talking about? Like, the guy sat there antagonizing him for 5 solid minutes, and he kept telling him, dude, why don't you leave me alone? And then the dude just kept, he wanted it. He wanted Joe Rogan to literally put his hands on him and choke him unconscious. So, that's what people do. They antagonize you and antagonize you and antagonize you. And in fact,
when you attack back, they play the victim.
With Mike Tyson, he kept on doing it until he got into the ring. This guy was a gangbanger and the leader of a gang. He kept talking trash. And Tyson got him in the ring and said, you know what, I'm going to take care of you in the ring. So you just keep talking that trash, see what happens. And, the guy made fun of Tyson, made fun of how he talked, hounded him, got in public and said a bunch of crap. And Tyson beat the crap out of him. That's it. So they can talk, they can say whatever they want, but the bottom line is you're not going to do jack. It's like Kevin Hart said, you're going to sit there with that, you ain't going to do shit, babe. That's all you're going to do, is do that. Because if you try to do anything else, you're going to lose. So that's it. Just shut up. Just shut your mouth. So that being said, I will make some workout videos. I will show some bag kick videos. And Tony has really good form when it comes to the kicks. And Anthony, you've come a long ways in your form too.
Yeah, you've really impressed me.
Yeah, his foot would always come up.
With Tony's help, Tony's actually a really good teacher when it comes to kicks.
Mm-hmm. Tony did very well because his stepdad is a very good martial artist, and I trained with him for years. We had the same sensei for a while too. So whenever this guy, he could teach you how to kick, like, correctly. Another person that I'm really good friends with, go find him, go look at him. He's on my Facebook, Chris Trammell. That guy, he trains out of Vegas. He's a MMA Muay Thai coach. A guy who's currently still a fighter who fights in Thailand. His name is Nick Almazan. Go find him. He's a great guy to coach. David Phillips was one of the guys that trained them. Dave Phillips is a crazy guy, known for years as a trainer. And then who else? Cobra, Josh Scales.
Yeah.
Josh Scales at Black Sheep. And
That's who taught me.
Max Williams, great boxing trainer. Scipio, what's his first name?
His first name is Kenton, and his Kenton Scipio Cook.
Kenton Scipio Cook. He's an African American dude. Deuce King, former MMA Bellator guy, whatever. Great guys, fighters. These guys are all on my Facebook. They're all coaches. They're all, if you want to learn how to fight and you're in the Austin area, definitely check these guys out. You won't be disappointed. They have Cooper's MMA is one of my places that I'm good friends with the guys from Cooper's MMA.
Black Sheep,
Sean
obviously.
Cooper, of course, Black Sheep, and Jeff Meadows, and Allison. What is Allison's last name? Oh my gosh, she listens to the show too. I'm sorry, I can't remember your last name. Allison Wood. Go check them out. Okay, these people, great coaches, great trainers. Even Chris Trammell's wife, she coaches too. These are not just men. There's women too. Tony's sister used to have some of the best kicks form I've ever seen. And Chad trained her, did a good job.
Yeah, well, I mean, she learned from when she was basically a baby.
And
She
it was all jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai.
I know, because that was her sparring bag.
Yeah. And so, if you're interested in learning how to do martial arts and fight, I don't really coach or train or teach anymore hardly, because I don't have the time, and I really don't train as much as I would like. I used to, but you can learn. I just gave you a bunch of names. Go and message those people and tell them Josh Turner said that you could train me. Blah blah blah. So if you're interested in learning how to do any of those things, I also know Rodrigo from Brazilian Fight Factory. He's another great trainer. I know judo trainers. I know Kempo trainers. I took Kempo. And it's just rapid hand strikes, basically just pressure points, things like that. Those are very good skills to have. Disarmament, things like that. Although I wouldn't suggest somebody putting a gun on you and going you know what, I'm Steven Seagal, I can take the gun away. Very, very easy way to get hurt. So anyway. That's what I'm telling you, and I'm no bullshit artist. I'm not up here lying to you like these people try to say, but they won't say it to my face. I guarantee you. Okay, and I have no interest in hurting anyone. I don't. But I'm going to be what I am going to be. I'm going to be who I am. All right. And as they say, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war, and have those skills, because if something ever happens. And you have to defend yourself. And a lot of times in bars and things like that, where I cut my teeth on this, being a bouncer, people are crazy, dude. People will test you. They'll come at you and they will hurt you, and you got to be able to defend yourself and protect yourself. And also, training MMA, just training with it is a good way to stay in shape and a good way to be healthy.
It helps your mental health too, because one thing that I really liked about going to the gym was just the community of it. I mean, all those guys in there are always some of the best people who are always looking in there for, similar reasons to either be fit, to learn how to protect oneself, or just, having a love for the sport. But they're all there to just have a good time and also teach each other. No one's trying to hurt each other. It's just a real nice learning experience.
Say that. There are some look at the guy that hit me in the eye that day.
Yeah, there are turds. There always are. But, most of the people in there aren't there to cause issues.
Yeah. I've had people do things.
And, I love, love and hate my stepdad, but he was one of those turds, so I know he can at times be a little bit too.
He was and I mean, I was immune to that. He never did that with me.
No,
but I'd seen him go pretty hard on people.
Well, it was just because he was an older guy. He's older than you, and he was still training even.
But when we started training, it was 20-something years ago.
Well, this is what I'm talking about, when I was training with him. So, a lot of the guys, young guys, would see him and be like, "Who's this old man?" in here. You know, he walks with like this kind of hunch over back. So
He never looked like an old man, though.
I guess they kind of thought that. I mean,
Really? Because he didn't even have gray
he would
hair.
tell
It
me
was like
stories
5
all the
years
time
ago.
about all these young
I think it
dudes
was the
who
way
would
he
test him.
walked.
Yeah, maybe the way
He
he
had that
walked.
hunch.
He carried himself kind of meek, but he could fight.
He could, and he would
definitely
whoop their
fighter.
butts all the time.
I used to see him fight downtown at the club. We get into it. He wasn't getting paid for it.
Well, he could fight for a
He
smaller
would
guy.
always jump in.
Like,
He wasn't really small either. He's 6'2", and he weighed about 185 pounds. That's not a small guy. I think maybe you look at him differently because he's your stepdad or something. But he was known as a pretty good fighter. He used to train with the same guy that coached Marshall and coached Loki and coached Chief and coached me and coached a bunch of other guys. And so. So we had some of the same teachers, and they fought out of the Pete Militich camp, and then and I think he switched over to Lion's Den. But anyway, that's all. Whatever. It doesn't.
That's
matter.
minutia.
We're talking like we're not even on
like you understand what we're talking about.
we're not
right?
even on the air here, folks. It's just MMA stuff. But the point is that I'm not full of crap. Okay, and if you ever come and meet me in person, I can show you. I won't hurt you, but I can show you a demonstration or whatever, because I'm not a liar. These people, my enemies, want to make me out to be this liar, and they want to make me out to be some kind of full of crap dude or whatever, BS artist. I'm not, and I'm really disappointed in this little weasel, this Gandalf-looking dude who made this video, because not only is he attacking all these other people, and I'm just another notch in his belt. Well, that's not going to happen, buddy, because you're a liar. You called me a liar and said I couldn't do the things that I said I could do, and I just did them. And you say that you're going after people who commit fraud and hoax. Well, you're being cheerleaded by people who throw rocks and say it's Bigfoot. So, I have no doubt that they're putting together some kind of video and taking a bunch of stuff out of context so that they can show it on one of their shows, and that's when the S is going to hit the fan, because that's what I'm sure you're going to do that. We're one away from 31,000. So I know that's what they're going to do, and they're going to try and make me look bad, and that's what they've been hinting at, that they're going to make some kind of amazing video, whatever. But you got to realize something: 6 monkeys, and it's taken all of them to screw in one light bulb. Okay, it's just me, and you can't do anything. You're not smarter than me. You're not stronger than me. You're not more spiritual than me. You're so inferior that even with your combined efforts, you still have an IQ of 1. That's the problem.
Combined IQ of a raisin.
Not even a grape. So let's finish up, folks, with the song, the new song that my wife, my sweet, beautiful wife wrote, and there it is. It's going to be on there.
Enjoy, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
And don't forget tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, the UAP. Do I need to put these on?
Yeah, if you want to hear
Oh,
it.
yeah, there we go. Oh, and then we got the giveaway. We'll do that too.
When the hunger wakes me, I live to feed. Where the darkness surrounds me, shape-shifting in the night, stalking you. Does my face seem familiar? Does my back tell you more? Will I change you, or will it end you? And the power that I have can give you eternal life. Death doesn't know me. I've become eternal. When the hunger surrounds me. Where the mist, she follows me. I walk alone in the night, watching you, following you, leading on you through the night. When the hunger wakes me, I live to feed. With the darkness surrounds me. Oh, your life, I was still. I become the living dead. I own the darkness and know what beats inside of me. I become eternal. When the hunger wakes me, I live to feed. With the darkness surrounds me.
So that is the latest song that Nelly wrote. That is The Vampire, and it's called The Hunger. And it will be available for purchase too. Somebody said on the chat that they said you're letting these people live rent-free and your silence would do this and that. I disagree, and I'll say why. Because I am a leader in this community. I didn't ask to be. I didn't set out to be. I didn't try to be. All I wanted was unification. I wanted us all to work together. But somebody has to do it. And somebody has to hold these douchebags, and the guy's name literally is Doucher. I'm not joking. Somebody has to hold people like him accountable. They think that they're going to hold me accountable. I didn't do anything to them. Okay? But people like him and the people that are cheerleading for him, they got to be held accountable. And the reason I feel that's important is because everything that they've done, everything that they do, they think that they're going to get away with it by going around and just constantly attacking people. And what they do is they depend on your silence. Now, if he had only attacked me, because I went and I looked at his pathetic excuse of a channel, and if him and his buddies, there's more than just him. There's a little cabal of them. Now there's a whole nest of vipers there. If it was just him, it'd be something different. But there's not. There's more. And if they had only attacked me, that would be one thing. But that's not what's happened. They've attacked people like Melba Ketchum, and they've gone after pretty much everybody who doesn't believe in a flesh and blood Bigfoot. And it has to be flesh and blood in the way that they believe it's flesh and blood, okay? They've attacked. And a lot of these people are my friends. And so when you mess around with all these different people, and then you come to me, well, that's when it changes, okay? You want to be known? Okay, you'll be known. You watch what happens, okay? Because when you do the things you do, there has to be consequences. And at one point, a couple of days ago, I was just like, well, it's just, a nuisance, whatever. But he has been something now that my enemies have rallied around. And sadly, the people that he's got in his camp now, whatever, are the real hoaxers and the real frauds. So this isn't a person that gives two shits about the truth. He does not care about hoaxing and fraud. All he cares about is being mean, snarky, and nasty. And you can see the big smile on his face when he goes after people. He literally gets a huge Kool-Aid smile on his face, and he enjoys it. And these are the kind of people are the reason why people like Melba left the field. These are the kind of people why Barton at one point left the field. These are the kind of people that if we sit back and just be silent, they're just going to keep running people off. But if these people know that when they open their mouths and they say the things that they say, that there could be consequences, there could be legal consequences. Then it's gonna take somebody who can actually go after these people. And I thought about it long and hard today, and I thought these people, they need to be held accountable and maybe even sued. It needs to happen, because then they're gonna think twice before they go after people and mess with people. They're going to think long and hard before, hey, maybe I shouldn't open my mouth and say these things that I'm saying. I shouldn't go after elderly people, that aren't hurting me or bothering me, because some of the people they went after, they're elderly. They're not even, they just want to be left the hell alone. And so him and his buddies, there's going to be a reckoning, and they're probably laughing behind their little keyboards and thinking it's cute and funny. And sitting there with their Duck Dynasty hair and their weird looking, rat nest beards and their little hats that they wear backwards. That's a perfect representation of him. The whole time he's talking about people, he is literally just sitting there, just getting off on being ugly, mean, rude, and nasty to people. And so someone at some point has to say enough is enough. So if you in this community or any other of these communities want to go after someone who hasn't done anything to you, nobody put you in charge. You are not the internet police. You are not the cryptid community police. You are not the Bigfoot police. You're not the ghost police or the UFO police. You are just a tick on a dog's dirty ass. And the fact that you actually think that you're important enough to open your dirty mouth with your unclean, unkept looking house. Go look at his house, it's on there. Why would you be that ridiculous to put that on there? And then he brags about choking some dude unconscious or whatever. Yeah, I don't care how many dudes you choked, all right, dude? You look like you choked things, okay? But you will be held accountable for the things that you do and say. You mess with people all the time, and maybe some of those people deserve it, and maybe they don't, okay? But someone is going to hold you responsible, and if it has to be me, then it has to be me. You're not going to open up a can of worms and talk a bunch of trash, okay? And then think that you're just going to sit back and nothing's going to happen to you, because none of those other people did anything about it or could do anything about your nasty, snarky, hateful, vitriolic, spewing of whatever. Now, I would say your only option at this point is to just to go back into your little hovel and leave people alone, or keep doing what you're doing and face consequences, because I'm going to deal with it. But you remember, now you have allies. You have DW and you have AI, and you can go and be on their team now. Those are your allies. Congratulations, because according to you and your constituents, those are the exact people that you're against. But I don't see you making videos and talking about them. They are proven hoaxers. And I don't see you saying a word about them. No, you decided to come after me. And yeah, I think you made a big mistake, dude. I don't know how old you are. You're like one of those people, I can't tell whether you were female, male at first. I couldn't tell. And I'm being serious. Up here, he looks very effeminate, and then he has a beard. So I thought it was a whatever, I thought it was a woman at first, but it's obviously a dude. And I can't tell how old you are, because you act like a kid, but then you present yourself like, like, I don't know, like an old hippie. So I'm going to tell you this, all right? You started something, and I'm going to finish it. You want to be known. You want the people to know who you are so they could go to your channel. They're going to go to your channel, and they're going to look at you, and they're going to see what a POS you are, and the people, how you attack people, and how you take such great pride in it. And the people that go to your channel and watch it are foul and dirty, and all they do is sit around and cheerlead for you, to talk very nasty and mean and ugly about people. Like I said, you're nobody. You're not the police. If you were the internet police, you'd be going after the people who you've sided with. But you're not. So get ready. You brought it. You wanted it. And on today, I celebrate 31,000 subs. And how many do you got, kid? 2,000? Have you hit 2,000 yet? Yeah. But people will know who you are. You want to be known. You and your buddies. You want to be known. I'm going to make sure that people know who you are. And then what's going to happen is when you open your mouth, your dirty mouth, nobody's going to listen to you. Nobody's going to pay attention to you because they're going to know that everything that comes out of it is filthy and vile and it's full of lies. And that you're not the real deal. You don't go after people who are committing fraud and hoaxing because you're not going after the people who are on your team now. They're on your team now. Those are your people. Those are your peeps, your bros. DW, boy, he was all about that. So, congratulations. You wanted my attention. Well, you got it. You algae eater. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow night. We do the UAP project. And I think we have, Truth and Bass on there? And possibly Chris James. And whoever else wants to jump on. I mean, I put a thread out there if you want to jump on and you got something to say about the UAP. If Chris doesn't jump on, then we'll have an extra slot. So show up, participate, ask questions, whatever you got to do. The giveaway, let's do it really quickly. Make sure you give me your information now. The 270 people that are still in the chat. Let's do this. Who has not won?
How many are we doing?
At least 2.
Okay.
What are we giving away?
About some hoodies.
Well, how many do we have? Because I don't know if we have.
True. I don't know
what sizes.
Can you go check?
Scott says he's never won. Lucas Big says he's never won. Well, Derek said me. That doesn't tell me. And Stephanie says me. You guys got to tell me if you won or not. Gwen Hunt. Gwen Hunt's been around for a long time. Says it never won. JoJo never won.
Still got a pretty good amount.
What sizes? Okay, all right.
XL, yeah, every size.
All right, so we're going to give away a hoodie. We got 2 hoodies. What do we got here?
I have one that I'm gonna pick.
Okay, pick it.
I'm gonna pick Miss Tessa Marie. She said that she really wanted one for Christmas, but she never got one, and she never got anything for Christmas. And she's never won.
Tessa Marie. Okay, so what you need to do is send me your information, Josh Turner at PRTpodcast.com, Josh Turner at PRTpodcast.com, and let us know your size. You don't got to put the size out here, whatever. Who else has not won? Tony, you're the next one. You pick.
A guy named Tony just commented.
Okay, Tony, quit playing around. Let's do this.
I am going to
Start playing the Jeopardy music here in a second.
I didn't know I was choosing. I thought you
Hey, grief, dude. You whistle very well. I'm not very good at whistling.
I am going to choose Lucas Biggs.
Lucas
There we
Biggs. Lucas has never won?
He said he has not won.
Hit me up on the email, guys. And I'll go ahead and choose somebody too. We'll do 3. We're going to do 3 tonight. That's a lot. We're going to do 3. Because we've done a lot this week. And we had somebody that won the book giveaway we did the AI Apocalypse, and the episode, we put it on the Paranormal Roundtable Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And he won. And his name is Corey McCowan. And he's from Texas. So, who wants a hoodie? Who has not won? If you even though you might have said it already, you need to say it again because I can't. Derek says, I'm from Killeen. Okay. You seem like a great guy, Derek, but you're not. Okay, there he says he hasn't won. Okay, Derek, you win. Derek, there you go. Finally, he said it. I mean, he's like, me, I'm from Killeen. You got to say you haven't won, Derek. That's it. Derek Eisner. Okay.
Now remember, if you won, you have to do your due diligence and send your information to that email that's scrolling across the top of the screen tonight. It can't wait because we're gonna send everything out tomorrow.
So right now we're gonna go into the storeroom. We have a storeroom in there, and it has all of our stuff in there.
And you got to send your name, your mailing address, and your size. We need all that info to get you your stuff.
So tomorrow night we'll do another giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway tomorrow night. It'll be me and probably the Truth and Bass, and we'll pick some people tomorrow. So if you didn't win tonight, you could win tomorrow. You might win tomorrow, and then we'll do it again on Sunday. We're going to do a bunch of giveaways. So everybody be ready. We're doing giveaways like crazy. We got back on it. We just said to heck with it. We actually had a lawyer tell us not to do anymore for a while because of what Anus did. We gave something away on Bettina's show. Every time I go on her show, something bad happens. Thanks a lot, Bettina. It's not her fault, but and then Anus used it against me, so used it to be mean and nasty and evil. But that's what these people do, right? That's what they do. But we're still here. We rise above it, and they can't do nothing. They can just talk a bunch of crap and make up stories and lies and whatever. So tomorrow, tune in, 8:00, the UAP. We're going to talk about alien abduction tomorrow. All right? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who donated, especially Kate Hunter. Thank you for coming through for us again, because it's been looking pretty abysmal on Fridays. And I'm talking about everything. The likes, the comments have been good, but we're not getting any people in like we usually get. We usually get like 400 or 500, but at least.
Yeah.
I think we only got to 420 tonight. I mean, it's like Friday's just like, what's going on with Friday, man? Sunday's still great.
Yeah.
Sunday's like good, man.
Mm-hmm. I think people just are starting their weekend plans Friday night.
Yeah, maybe we need to figure it out, man. Somebody give me your ideas if you about Friday, if you think there's something going on. Why? I'm going to ask people on Sunday. Why Friday is not a big, All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you. Good night.
Have a good one.
Hope you enjoyed the song. That will be the next two will be coming out. The Mummy. There's one that I know that she's writing about La Llorona. And then I think, what is the other one? The Bear King, which I helped with. All right, guys. I'll see you.